Wanishi, Keisha Lamuquane, Ubake Serene Sally, 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 Ubake Serene Sally. I am the son of Tara, son of Michael, grandson of Barbara and Ronald, Sharon and Mary, great-grandson of Lizzie, Grady, Ivy, Texan, Robert, Agnes, Hannah, Ernest. Honor your ancestors, and your days will be long. And this is medicine. 40 days and 40 nights on the North Pacific. Starts to read like a prophecy if you know the scriptures. For the sake of enlightenment, I embarked a mission. In the belly of the beast, under harsh conditions. Who else you know as a carpenter and a fisherman? Connected to the earth and made land sing like Michigan. Rain dancing to the beat of the Most High's drum. Standing on the shoulders of giants, no feet, far from I'm from. A land where brothers stand by the hydrant. Fire, water, you don't wanna see the eyes run. 3 sons in my orbit of lives bless me with daylight, so I'm investing my savings and showing their future stay bright. Black lives matter, hold up, only if you claim white. Looking at these protests like they ain't playing the game right. What's hidden in plain sight remains out of reach to the blind. They say Jupiter's the reason we climb, but we only reach ascension when we hit a decline. Instead of reaching with my hands out, I'ma reach in my mind. Take the chips out of the cortex and reach the divine transformation. I'm the living, breathing Optimus Prime. Fingerprints next to the dots on these lines, and watch the Kundalini rise through every single knot on your spine. If you not catching these seeds, then you are not on your grind. Twist the J up for the chiefers getting out of their time zone. Fly paper planes out in the sky, trying to get this cancer out of July. While I'm alive, medicine wheel moving through the zodiac signs. 12 sides to a story, don't be skipping no lines. Me, I sip and I tie. All my symbols are sealed. When I was floating on the ocean, all these things were revealed. I came back to the land and then I saw how he kneeled. And everybody took the bait while they still making their deals. I'm just here to bring this medicine to wake up and heal. Willfully they'll stop misplacing their zeal. Willfully they'll stop making all these vacant appeals and stop making a scene so we can make it for real. Copper penny skin magic, never play with Shaquille. Stop making the scene so we can make it for real. I yield. Bake mom set it for 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 Waftalana Kula babin kunta fatin salihina minal kirati allahu.
Peace, everybody. Peace. Thank you for joining us. Turtle Gang Entertainment. We here about to bring you something new in terms of our programming. About to turn the platform over to my beautiful cousin, CARRIE Jones. We're going to get another perspective on this whole conversation, but this conversation is not going to be limited to just indigenous culture and things of that nature. We're going to touch everything, right? So, without further ado, let me bring my co-host, cousin CARRIE Jones. How you doing, cousin?
I'm good, cousin. How are you? Blessings to everybody. So, good. Blessings to everybody.
Indeed. So the video we just watched, that's a cousin named Obadiah. He a Barry. So, you know, he got a lot he's bringing to the table. His music is very profound in terms of telling our story, you know what I mean? A blend of African and indigenous American. So definitely can't wait to meet him and get to hear more of his music. Okay, so who do you have here with you?
Oh, this is my grandson. This is Antonio Brown.
Okay, Antonio, peace, man. How you doing, bro? Little cuz.
He said, how you doing?
Good.
Good, that's what's up, man. Good to see you. Like your hair, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
So let's talk about let's go with so the title of this show is, I'll let you give it to the people.
This is the real, spelled REEL. Can you
Mm,
take it?
can
We
you
would
take
like, yes, can you take it? Meaning we would like to have just an open platform um, to speak about, of course, our culture, our history, where we're taking this movement, which is very, very important, how we can pass it on. But we also want to talk about just everyday topics, just everything that we as grown-ups, as our children, are going through this thing called life to get to a point where we are. But I think that we need to delve a little bit deeper so it could be just an overall platform for everybody to be reached and everybody's concerns. Because no matter what's going on, whether you're Indian, Chinese, Black, white, or Puerto Rican, all of these things, the transgenderism, the sexuality, the labels that these kids are now being able to put on themselves, as well as the talk that we have with our kids. And it's crazy because we even have light skinned kids that need to talk. They not
Mm-hmm.
all as dark and brown as us, and they even have names like Antonio, but they are still considered to be us, and they will face the same challenges is if not even more challenges than we have faced. So what we are trying to do, Norris and myself being his co-host, we just want to open this platform up and we want to keep it clean. We do want you to be as compassionate as you possibly can, get all your points across, but we want to make it kind of like a platform, not something where we can put out a topic and then we'll give our opinions and then you guys can come in and give some feedback. Just remember when we're talking about anything that's dealing with transgender and things like that, I really look at that as if it's going into another realm, especially because I think it has a lot to do with sex. So when we're dealing with those subjects, I just want to again just keep it clean. There are ways to get your points across without being vulgar and just making a point so that everybody can understand. We're all educated in our own ways, but we just want to keep it fun, keep it clean, get the information out there. And if there's anybody that has any other information that you could add or you want to share to Norris or you think that it's important for us to implement with the podcast, I think that is going to be very important too. And trust me, we want to do this as a bonding, a unity, and a coming together, not just of minds, but of visions, of dreams, and then let's just see where we can take it.
Absolutely, absolutely, cousin. I thank you for giving this opportunity for us in terms of I definitely want to be able to have more in depth, deeper conversations with people, and I don't know. I guess on some levels I might rub people the wrong way. So introducing another energy to the platform. I think somebody that can be just as stern, right? Just as stern, because they not going, you know what I mean? But just a different energy might be more welcoming. I get the feeling that people do kind of want to have more of a conversation about multiple things, and maybe they not so comfortable conversating with me for whatever reasons. But I just want to let everybody know, even those people who have issues with me personally or whatever the case may be, please feel free to call up, to tap in, and let's discuss some of these issues, but let's do it in a respectful manner. I have my cousin here with me. You know what I mean? We got our babies with us. So, we want to be able to move forward and have some of these conversations. And like I said, for those who feel uncomfortable necessarily talking directly to me, I have my cousin Carrie. Now, my cousin Carrie is not far from a pushover. She knows as much, if not more, than me in terms of the genealogy, our family history. So, just to so people start to kind of get a better understanding of you, Carrie. Why don't you share a little bit about your life story and just the you know what brought you to where you are now? You know.
Okay. I was born and raised in Long Branch, and I knew my grandmother died when my mother was born. She died giving birth to my mother. So my
Let's say
mother was
Jersey.
always
Let them know Long Branch, New Jersey. Well, there's going to be people watching
uh,
from all over the
Branch,
place at some point.
yeah, sorry, Long Branch, New Jersey. And my grandmother died giving birth to my mother in 1944. So my mother was an only child, and she was raised by her grandmother, who she was named after, Cynthia Ruffin. And Cynthia, sadly to say, when she was born in 1898, both of her parents died when she was 5 years old. And she too was raised by her grandparent and then, aunts and uncles and a lot of her family. So it was kind of like one of those things that was passed down. But my mother giving birth to seven children, she was the most loving, most caring, most beautiful spirited person I ever knew in my life. My mom was born with a mole in the middle of her head, and she had two holes, a hole in each ear. And they said she was
Mhm.
born with a veil over her face, and it was an extra layer of skin. And they said that she was blessed and, all of the anointed and all of these other things.
Now, Carrie, because
So
so Chief Eagle Eye says he was born with a veil over his head, the two holes. Is that literal? What are we talking about when we say that?
I'm still trying to find it out, but I'm learning more of the history. Like we've always burned our hair. Like this, of
Hmm.
course, is my natural hair, but my sister, who was a lot than me, had a ponytail that went down to her back, jet black, straight, wavy hair. And we were always told when we were young to burn your hair after you finish. Like, just don't throw your hair away. We were told to burn the hair. And I never realized until now, learning about the Native American history, that when you burn your hair, you're supposed to say that you're giving it back to the godfather of hair. And once you're deceased, the godfather of hair will return every bit of hair that you've given to him. So it's like all of these little things that we've learned. Like I crochet, I make all my own jewelry. And
Hmm.
I never, I always knew we were Indian. I always heard about the Cherokee Indians. I remember my great grandma Cynthia being called an Indian princess. So those were things that we always had, but I did not understand where it really came from and how important it was in our life. But now knowing the history of my great grandmother, Cynthia, who my mom is named after, she was left over 120 acres of property. And then knowing where her uncle received the property from, and then knowing who their family was, because remember, my grandmother's parents weren't there. My great grandmother's parents weren't there. So we lost a lot, but we gained a lot through the family. But as my great grandmother got older, and it was a lot with people taking the property we didn't even know about. I'm actively in court right now fighting for one of our family
Hmm.
cemeteries, and we found out about more property where my great grandmother lived at, that the whole entire street is actually our family property. So it's just a lot, and I just felt like I was kind of isolated my whole life, just being a little different from the people in my family and the stuff that drives me and the stuff that makes me pay attention. And then, I was always, you're a little bit loud and you're boisterous and you're this and now I understand it's all been put into one pot. It was all just like a little bit of gumbo where you got one ingredients there and one ingredients there and one ingredients there. And it all came together to make this perfect pot, because now I'm aware of the family history and the family property. I'm also sharing that with other members of the family, not just the people that come underneath my great grandmother, but there are other family members, and we all have property out there. So my collective mission is to find every bit of this property, to let every family member know so they can actively be engaged. And then to understand that my family were the last of the Lenni Lenape Indians that stayed here because they had intertwined with the African Americans that were here, and even, some of the people from the West Indies, Barbados and stuff. I found out a lot about the family history, and to know that Norris and I, which would be, I think, our third great grandfather, owned 1,800 acres. He owned an entire city.
Mm.
That three
Mm.
cities, Monmouth County, the state of New Jersey basically zoned, came up boards and everything else. And the whole goal was to basically get rid of our city. They turned part of our family property into a 900-acre Monmouth County dump, and
Mm-hmm.
they're actively on the other side of the property building homes and stuff right now as we speak. So my mission is, I actually have a court date coming up again this Friday for the cemetery that I'm talking about. But Norris knows that our next mission is to get all the family involved so we can go after every bit of property out there. I've already gotten the paperwork. I've already got these two cities behind me because they know the injustice and the things that were done
Mm-hmm.
wrong, especially to the family. So, what I'm looking for is not never reparations, but my family needs to be restored from what was taken. And we're calling it restorations. My brother went to Princeton University with 13 scholarships, which he should have never had to do, because if his family had had their inheritance, he would have been able
Mm-hmm.
to walk in there proud and not feel like he was less than, even though he was smarter than just about every person he was ever around. So
Absolutely.
I take that and I say, we love the stories and we love the history, but we got to stop listening to these stories, because the backside to the family telling stories about the Native Americans, we're also hearing stories about the separation and the divide, and this family member didn't like this one, but that's not coming from us. That's coming from stories that are
Mm-hmm.
written, that
That
are
are written
written, are written by other people about our
to
family.
divide us. To divide us. Yes.
That's right. So, what I say to everybody and every family is, no longer let anyone write your story. If you know that your great grandmother had a store, the great grandmother had a laundromat, the great grandmother washed clothes better than anybody in the neighborhood, and whoever she worked for gave her X, Y, and Z, you need to do research and find out everything you can about it. Because I guarantee you, we are not standing here we're not standing here popping collars, chest out for no reason. There were people that came here before us and they paved the way. Trust me, you can look at yourself, you can look at families around you, and you can tell where people came from. You can tell by the way a person carries himself. You can tell by the way a person acts. Have you ever sat around and said, "Oh my God, I've never had this before. I've never seen this before, but I'm so drawn to it"? Because it's already been there. Your family's already been involved. It's just something, for whatever reason, you haven't been privy to. And I know a lot of people don't like history. I know it's hard now to talk to little kids, because my not my grandmother, but I called her my grandmother's sister who raised my mom. She always told stories about when they were little and how things were done. And it's so hard in this day and age to captivate a young person with the mind and the knowledge of where they came from, but you got to make it fun. Look at my
Mm-hmm.
grandson. He out here now playing in rocks. You know
Mm-hmm.
what he know about them rocks? He know
You
we
know about
come
the
from.
donkey and rocks.
He knows he's tough. He knows he's
Mm-hmm.
strong. He knows he's invincible. And when I look at stuff like this, you know what this these rocks are? Now this is insane, but this is how my life is. Look at this, cousin. You know this is going all the way over here, and you see that brick right there? That means
Mm-hmm.
water used to flow from here.
Mm.
This was some type of trail, water.
Yeah.
Look, and they've covered it all in, and they filled it all up. You know why? Because I'm in Neptune now, and I'm not far from Neptune Boulevard. So I'm sure this is also some of where our
Mm-hmm.
family was at. Look at the hole
Mm.
and the grate down there.
Mm-hmm. Some
See, I can
sandhill.
go any place in Monmouth County now, especially where I know our ancestors lived, because it just makes the hair on my neck stand up. And I know
Mm.
that we didn't own everything, but I know those 1,800 acres that we owned did a lot for these people in this community, and it still is. And I just want the family to be recognized for the things we've implemented, the highways, half of the roads, the churches around here, the Episcopal Church. It's just a lot. And I'm telling you, when you learn your family history, you will understand why you have the feelings you do, and it will definitely give you more clarity because it has opened up a whole new avenue for me. Trust me, I've gone through loss, the loss of my daughter. I just lost two friends last week, and it just gives me something to stay focused on, to say you're still here and you got a mission and there's things you got to do. So no matter what happens around you, you got to make it work.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's definitely a part of the conversations we're definitely going to be having. We also want to have some conversations in terms of mental health, right? Adults. Are adults, do you think adults are where they're supposed to be mentally, health wise in today's society? Are the majority of us adults or are we big kids? What would you say?
Complicated.
Complicated.
I would say it's almost like it's selective. You know
Okay.
how when you're talking to one of your cousins and they're saying something, and you feel like they know more than you. Most of the time I'm good at captivating people's attention, and I get the good listeners. But there are times when you're around and you can tell somebody just don't want to hear what you have to say. And then
Mm-hmm.
you see all the childish stuff come out. But then that same person, and I'll use this example, people that chew with their mouth open, that make that noise.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother always told you to chew with your mouth closed. But because you're
Yeah.
with the family, it don't matter. Just And I would tell everybody. So if you were sitting in front of Barack Obama, would that be the etiquette you use? So see, that's why
No.
when I say it's selective, it's
Yeah.
selective. So I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't I wouldn't classify it as anybody not being grown. They just choose to be when they choose to be. Yeah.
Okay. Selective ignorance. Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I I definitely so
Come on,
so
Kitty.
I bring that up because um I don't know, we're well into our adulthood, right?
Mhm.
But we get to watch people younger than us grow into their adult minds, right? So I'm watching a bunch of people right now growing into their adult minds, and they're having problems processing information they're coming across, right? So I'll give you an example. You have people who are discovering their ancestry, right? But they have a problem with their physical appearance. It doesn't necessarily match the narrative that they've been given. How do you think that affects people? And what is your position on phenotype as opposed to lineage? I think it's because you have a wide, your family is a wide spectrum. So I'd like to speak, if you could speak on that a little bit. Well, I got you muted, I think. I think you're muted. Okay. You back muted again.
Okay, you said what
Okay.
was my position on?
Like, if you just want to speak a little bit to, um, like a lot of people are caught up today as they're maturing into this next level of their life, right? They're having a struggle with the information they're coming across and their physical appearance. So, can you just speak a little bit to heritage as opposed to your physical experience, appearance now? We say we have Indian ancestry, but people look at us and we clearly look African. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I'm also 7% Scottish, 14% England, 17% Senegalese. So you can never look at a person and tell who they are, a person usually gives you a perspective, a picture, an idea of who they are. Now, I always tell people you can take the physical because that's usually what brings you to somebody. Oh, what he has on look nice, or our hair looks cute. So the physical is always what draws your attention first. But what happens if you don't like what you see? Then you have to go a little bit further, and you have to take that part out of your mind. And then if you engage with the person, if you talk to the person, then that's when you get even more clarity. Okay, this person is cool, we like the same things, we can get to know each other. Because a lot of what people truly don't understand is this: when you're a child and you're in school, those are classmates, those aren't friends. And they become friends, or they're called friends, because if you don't get along with this person, you go to the principal's office, you won't be in school. When you're at
Mm-hmm.
work, those people are co-workers. They're not friends. But if you don't get along with this person, you will not have a paycheck. Your brother and sister, your first cousins, they be all right, but they brother
Mm-hmm.
and sister and cousin. Because if you don't get along, what's gonna happen? Grandma coming, your mother gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
So when you truly find people that are like you, you're usually doing something that you like, and it just so happens that this person likes the same thing. And then when you get to talking, you like more and more stuff. So my thing is, and I'm big on working out. I'm big on working out. I used to be 215 pounds, but I take that as a personal choice. Everybody don't want to be a size 6 or a size 7. And somebody that's a 14, I'm not going to look at you any different than I look at myself. I just know that you make different choices in your life. And that's the next thing, when we stop trying to always push our ideals and our perspective off on others, and then sometimes maybe listen to their perspective. The crazy thing is you'll get to people like Monique when she was doing
Mm-hmm.
Beyonce, watch out for the big girls, and saying how happy she was to be big. And then 3 years later, we realized that she getting surgery because she's unhealthy and she really wasn't happy. My thing
Yeah.
is, you could take that 1,000 different ways. Beware of false prophets. Know what you're talking to. Don't let people just say anything to you and you believe it. Like, there was a little girl the other day. She kept saying that her transgender friend tried to commit suicide, and she was of age, I believe, old enough. Her mother allowed her to talk about it. She was 17, and I mean, I'm like, what do you mean he tried to commit suicide? And she just kept saying it, and I'm like, no, sweetheart, listen to me. You can't say what somebody else said. What did he actually do to try to do this? Because a lot of times nothing ever happened and it's just a story. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of times you have to understand who you're talking to. And then, just like everything else in the world today, you got to know what's real and what's not. And the only way you're going to do that is to do your own work and investigation, and not just believe everything that comes out of somebody's mouth. But is that
Absolutely.
really how you want to deal with everybody every day?
No, you want to be around people that they like, be alike, see alike.
There you
Absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
Right. So therefore, like somebody just told me this morning, and I'll tell you about that after we're done, that you have to associate and or surround yourself with the people who are like you, because you know I'm high spirited. I'm fiery. I
Mm-hmm.
like to speak loud. I want to get your attention, but everybody can't take that. So what am I going to
Mm-hmm.
do? Dummy myself down, dim my light, not do what I'm supposed to do to make the person next to me happy? No, I will disassociate myself and I will go that way. Not saying that I can't come back to you when I'm finished, but right now
Mm-hmm.
this is where we need to be. So I think, I hate to say picking and choosing your battles, because it's not a battle. This is just everyday life. Just know that energy that's around you. And if it's not meeting yours, then you need to do something to remove it. Because one thing about it, this my grandson. You see him trying to get my attention, right? He right here.
Mm-hmm.
But if I
Mm-hmm.
turn my back, hold on, because I hate this. He knows I hate this. If I turn my back and dismiss him, his energy can no longer penetrate me. But that's the worst thing in the world you could do to somebody, is be dismissive. But if it's
Yeah.
that bad, look at his face. Be dismissive. It's okay. And it's okay to know that you're different, because God didn't
Mm-hmm.
make us all alike. And see, we were raised that way too, especially on the African American side. You're not better
Mm-hmm.
than that person. You can't do this to that person. My granddaughter seen this old Jewish lady that lives by me the other day. Now this lady is bent over with her cane, and she take one look. one step probably every 10 seconds. And my granddaughter wanted to run out there. Mom, let me go help her. I said, let me tell you something. You see those grown women in that car waiting for her to get there? That woman wants no help. She's
Mm-hmm.
strong, she independent, and she's determined. Don't touch her. Let her get to that car. And when they bring her back with her groceries, they sit them right on the porch, and she lives upstairs. She'll come back and forth to get them upstairs, but she don't want that extra help. So see, you got to know who you're dealing with. Crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
always protect your energy because I think it's important. And I mean, the way we would learn, people might take it as conceited or she thinks she better or no, just know that you're different. Just know that you're different. And if better happens to be better, then it's just better. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. God, the universe, your ancestors ain't giving you nothing for staying stupid and staying stuck somewhere you have no reason to be.
Absolutely. So we have a comment here by Awanasa. Hope I'm saying it right. Probably not, but so she said, speaking in terms of transgender people, they've always been around, but the stuff was never pushed like it is today. In terms of, we were talking the other day about how Target pushes these narratives. Different corporations are pushing a narrative. Obviously, the LGBT community and all that has really grown. So they're being advertised to a lot, and that's catching the attention of just random regular people. How do you feel about the way the agenda has been pushed in today's media?
I believe she's right. The agenda has always been there. But me being 57, when I was younger, you I was a tomboy. I was still a tomboy. I still wear sneakers at 57 years old. So does that make me a tomboy or does that make me athletic? Or am I called something just because of what other people say? Me, myself,
Mm-hmm.
I just identify as a very thorough young lady, and I could always do what any boy could do: throw a football, do pull ups, anything. But I never considered myself to be a guy or anything other than the young lady I am. And God knows I had my first child when I was 12 years old. So that says a
Mm-hmm.
lot. But going on to what they're doing today, you've just given them more options. You've given them more options with the word binary. Like, from what I understand and what I remember it being, if you were gay, you were a boy liking a boy, or you were a girl liking a girl. Then you got to remember, I am a woman, a young lady. So we went through all of these liberators. So I don't want to just be gay because that could be a boy. I want to be a lesbian. Now, what is homosexual, non-homosexual? They just come up with a different name, and what that does is give somebody a chance to say, "Oh yeah, well I'm kind of like that, so maybe that's what I am." So it seems to me that every time you come up with, or the community comes up with another label, like the queer thing. When I was young, queer just meant different. When I was young, gay meant happy. So I mean, now you're coming up with different meanings, and they have different understandings, and that's fine. You can place yourself wherever you choose to be. I just like to let grown-ups, and I believe grown-ups, I say grown-ups, anybody over 18, when you're having these discussions with a young one, I think it's safe to say that if this young person is not physically active, this is not something that they should be worried about. Because when you're talking about these things, especially with the kids, it's like, well, I don't like boys or girls. So wait a minute. Now, are you talking about just your sexual preference, or are you talking about who you are? Because it's so confusing. But they too always take it back to sex. And my thing is,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a little 13-year-old girl and you're saying you're non binary because you don't want to be a girl or a boy, I think that science and anatomy says you are a young lady because of the things that you have in your body. Same thing with the man. My only problem with all of this stuff is when it comes to the grown ups, because a grown man can be transgender or gay or whatever. But if my 11-year-old granddaughter goes into a bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
she can't fight off a guy as big as Norris that wants to put on a wig and some lipstick while he got a mustache and a beard, just because this is the thing to say when you want to be around little girls. And I believe that
Mm-hmm.
anybody in this society, no matter what you're doing, fighting for your rights, when it interferes with children, something needs to be done. Because you,
Yeah.
as that man with the wig and the makeup on, Norris, if you go into a man's bathroom and a man tries to do anything, you physically can defend yourself
Yeah.
equally against that man. My little
Let me
granddaughter can't. So
let me
I'm
share something. Let
go
me share a quick Target story with you. I got a million of these that
pop.
speak exactly to that. Right. So Target, the bathrooms are they're genderless at this point. They still say man or woman, but
Right.
basically, well, this is what it really is. A woman can go into a man's bathroom. If a man goes into a woman's bathroom, it's going to be a problem. It's usually a problem.
Right.
But the women have gone into the men's bathroom and will be called in there because a woman's in the bathroom, and she'll argue it's her right to be in the bathroom, right? So we can't do nothing. So if a man does something, she's argued her right. So
Right.
I'm telling you, somebody like from the law perspective, because I work in the security department, we
Right.
could not remove men from women's bathrooms,
Right.
and we could not remove women from men's bathrooms,
Right.
right? But
Well, I get what you're saying, and I
now,
said it all the
now,
time, even in the
yeah,
malls. I believe that they should have the bathrooms where a man or a woman can go in there. Because then, to
mm-hmm,
me, I have 6 daughters. I would
mm-hmm,
never let my child go to no bathroom by herself. We
yeah,
need to understand that this country is not free, has never been
yeah,
free, will never be free. And when you want to protect your children, you keep your eyes on them at all times. You can't just let them wander up and go into these bathrooms because of
mm-hmm,
stuff like this. But I
just
truly
like
believe
this,
in
yep,
my heart, any grown up fighting for their rights, when you disconsider children, you're never going to win. Because I'm
mm-hmm,
not against my brother that went to Princeton University was gay. I have nothing to do with what he did in his bedroom.
mm-hmm,
It had nothing to do with whatever he did as a physical man, unless my brother would have been out somewhere and somebody would have tried to attack him, fight him, or hurt him, then I would have had to do something. Other than that, his fight is his sole fight. But when you don't consider children, I have a problem with that. I also,
mm-hmm,
my thing is this, the males turning into females playing the sports. I used to cheerlead, run track, all of that.
yeah. That's wrong.
I know that if I was swimming against a boy the same age as me, he probably would beat me. His physical
Mm-hmm,
stamina. If I had to stand up here right now and my 17-year-old grandson, who is almost 6 feet, wanted to take everything in him and try to knock me out, and I'm just standing here, I believe he'd be able to do it. Would I still be able to do the same to him? No way. So for
mm-hmm,
me, I think that it shouldn't be okay for a guy because you don't change that DNA. You have not made yourself a weak 11-year-old little girl just because you have breasts and did whatever else you did. You still are physically a man. Your DNA
mm-hmm,
says it. So
yeah,
how do you then bring that together? I believe just like everything else, you made up a new bedroom. I mean, a new bathroom for everybody. Make up another sports for the transgender. They are allowed to have their rights, but when you start taking away my granddaughter's right to feel like she's safe and secure going in a bathroom, I got a problem with that. I don't
mm-hmm,
know how to resolve it. You're not supposed to take away anybody's rights. If you do that, you'll do it to everybody. It'll be the guy with the one eye. You know, people with one eye can't do this and that. So trust me, I understand politics and I understand a lot of what's going on. And now my grandchildren are nowhere out here. But I want y'all to just get a look at my 11-year-old granddaughter. Hold on.
mm-hmm.
Hold on. Because I got some things to say.
Yeah,
Come
no,
here.
no, I'm not. This is your time.
Yep. Come here. No, not, you stay right there. Say hi to the people on camera. What's your name?
China Jones.
China Jones. Okay, that's your cousin Norris, and we're
Mm-hmm.
doing a nice little podcast.
Hey,
Okay, put
cousin.
it back in the car. See?
Mm-hmm.
Shut the door. Now that young lady right there was called the boy twice today. We at the
Mm-hmm.
Social Security office, and the man said, "Well, the young man came in and he sat right to the next to the other young man." Would I get offended? No. But you know what? That little girl ain't thinking about sex. You know what she thinks she is? She danced like Chris Brown. She thinks she is a B girl dancer That's why she dressed like that. She don't like fresh little girls that run around with their nannies out and stuff. And look at their nana. Come on, I got a nice little
Mm-hmm.
shirt on, cut off. We don't do that. So I no
Mm-hmm.
more mind her, but how the rest of the world looks at her. And if anybody calls her a boy, why would I be offended when that's the look she going for? Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
it's all, you got to put everything in perspective. So I never want somebody to think that I'm not understanding. I am. I just refuse to conform to the ways of everybody else. Psychology was my thing when I was in college. And I learned one thing, and it was that if you had somebody that was the president of a company and he was in charge of everybody's paycheck and everything, if he put an orange on the table and said it was an apple, they said 95% of the people at the table would say it was an orange because they wouldn't want to disagree with him. Well, you know what? It's a damn apple, and I would never agree with him, and I'd be the first one going home without a job because I
Mm-hmm.
just could never conform to things the way they are. 5% is God's. I love them all. The queens, the earths, I love them all. But my stepfather was a full-fledged Muslim who had a crescent and a star
Mm-hmm.
on his arm. And learning from him, doing my first book report on Black history about Malcolm X. And then I'm growing up where you have 5%ers. And you're saying A is Allah and B is for born and C is for sight. I mean, it was just a little weird. And it was
Mm-hmm.
something that I could never grasp onto because what I knew was different from that. Wasn't like I
Mm-hmm.
didn't embrace everybody because I have and I always will. But I pick and choose the stuff that I choose to interact with. And I tell you what, my granddaughter is going to grow up and be the best person she can be, no matter what she decides to do or who she
Mm-hmm.
decides to engage herself with. But I would never allow her to let society or anybody put a label on her because that's the first thing somebody said. And I'm like, wait a minute, she 11. Hold on, back up. You want to see her
Yeah.
dance? You want to see her dance? That Mary, Mary, you are everything. The club version, that's her song. Now, come on. Life is
Mm-hmm.
what you make it. It don't always have to be so turned up and about something to challenge. Sometimes it just is what it is. And you don't need to give it energy. Just let it go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So another thing I kind of want to throw up in the air. So we have a lot of toxicity. Toxicity, is that a word? That's the real word, right word? And
Toxic. You want to say
yeah,
that?
toxic behavior in our relationship choices, whether
Oh,
it be friends or it be the intimate. Now, when I say friends, I'm saying, you can look at the youth now and they stand like what the things I know the things we did as a youth, we were toxic. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sitting here identifying them as like they're this brand new group, right? We stood around on the block, but the level of toxicity is just, it's on a whole nother level. And when I say that, I mean the way we interact with each other is is argumentative. The things we do is combative. You know what I'm saying? Um, in terms of today's society, how does that affect our relationships, and how are we going to be able to grow when we engage with each other in such a way? Like, how do we get away from the toxic aspect of our interactions with each other on all levels?
stay off of Facebook, stay out of your own head, and get out of your own way. Simple. No, you know why? Because everybody, we all do it. Like, Nars, I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to our family
Mm-hmm.
stuff. You know
Mm-hmm.
what you're talking about when it comes to what you're doing with the indigenous stuff. But there's going to be somebody in this family that comes up and they're going to be like, well, I knew this and I knew that. And we'll sit there and be like, okay, well, where were you? And that's not the thing. Just let them add his little shit to the gumbo and we going to be all
Mm-hmm.
right. And then if it's
Mm-hmm.
worth adding in there, good. And if it's not, we'll make a whole nother pot and just make sure he don't know about it. And we will not be using that ingredient. I
Yeah.
no longer at 57 want to fight and argue. One thing I've never done, and I will say men, but women do it too. When I was younger, I used to be around a bunch of guys, and they would always, how you say, hack on each other. Oh, look at
Yeah.
him. That's why you corny. You know your mama at work. That's why
That's
you
what we
home.
talking about.
Y'all know he only here because I don't like that because I feel like when you're doing all of that, trying to push all that energy off on that person, What you really mad about is because nobody's paying attention to you and you don't have nothing going on. So when they pay attention to you, you want it to be you belittling somebody else. I've never liked that. When we were younger, girls used to call each other the B word. Those were almost fighting words for me because I couldn't understand, like, why do you want to call me such a word? And we all just out here having fun. So those things I never liked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like people that can't stand on their own footing. Like if I'm talking to you and I don't see you shaking your head, or I don't think what I'm saying is really good, I'm saying, right, Norris, right, cuz you know, right, cuz, like just trying to pull you over
Mm-hmm.
here in agreement to them. And that those are the people that when you know that it's like that, you got to pick and choose. Do I really need to be there? Do I really have to be around this person? Because I'm telling you, when I started disassociating myself with people, it was better. I have family members and they argue. And every time I was around, it's like, oh, because Carrie, because Carrie. Look, I'm gone, one brother gone, two sisters gone, and they still doing the same thing. And I'm like, y'all do the math. Nobody ain't there but them two.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Them two
Mm-hmm.
was always the problem. We were just there to be thrown in a pot. You know, you have them everywhere you go. But I look at those. I mean, I'm into my chakras.
Mm-hmm.
So those to
Mm-hmm.
me are, oh, and this is the necklace I wanted to show you. Those to me and my little turtle.
Mm-hmm.
Those to me are energy vampires. And those are people who like to suck the life out of you. Those are people who want your life. And those are the people that whenever you're around, they want to try to belittle you and dim your light. Like, no, Carrie don't know everything. Or Carrie's or you're talked about when you're not even there. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Those are the people that aren't constructive, don't have much going on, and they are never a problem for me because I love it. And I don't even know what rapper it was, but he said she'll get under your skin if you let her. I'm not bothering you. So if anything's happening, you're doing. Yes, baby.
Mm. Absolutely. I agree with you on that, cause definitely. So what do you have to say to the? Let's just talk about to the young women now out here. Any advice to the young women in terms of uh dating and what they should be looking for? Anything, any wisdom you'd like to give to the young ladies out here that might be listening?
I'm single, so I don't know what to tell you, but I'm having fun.
Okay.
No, all I can say is just be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. You're not obligated to have to do, to have to be, to have to want to be. Because there are some women that just never want to have kids, and then you have women that just want nothing but a house full of kids. Don't never let nobody put you in the box and tell you what you are supposed to and not supposed to do, unless they're your babies and they crying for some milk. Those are the only people you have to answer to. If that baby is 7 or 8 and she ate already and she just trying to get on your nerve, you don't even have to answer to her. Not at that point. What I'm saying is you are a human being. And no matter what goes on in your life, women, we normally do it. We lose so much of ourselves trying to be everything for everybody else that sometimes you turn around and you look and you have no idea who you are, where you're going, or what you're doing. What I'm saying is, as long as you keep reaching, keep wanting to do, keep feeling like, dag, if I don't do this, what's going to happen? Make it a must in your life because anything you must do, you're going to do it and it's going to happen. And guaranteed it's going to turn out okay. Just never give up on yourself. But as far as that love life, I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm single.
All right. So just a little bit before we wrap up, you just want to I don't know, give any other background information, anything that we got coming up. Well, we do got this Juneteenth event coming up, and obviously you've been asked to speak. Not only the tribe was asked to speak, and our chief extended his platform to you personally to speak on a little bit of our experiences with the cemetery. So just talk just a little bit about that. You don't got to go too much into it, but just for any new listeners, just
Okay.
speak a little bit about the what you were able to accomplish and what it is you'd like to say to the people on the 17th.
Okay. The cemetery, of course, is our family cemetery. Norris's grandparents, great grandparents are buried there. My grandparents, great grandparents are buried there. And this property had been in the family since 1886. And there was a man who came along and felt like, I'm only assuming he was entitled to take the property. He's gone all over New Jersey. He's taken over 300 Black historic or non-historic, claimed to be historic cemeteries, and he's been very successful at it. The only thing is that when he came to our property, we were able to pull up documents, deeds, and other paperwork proving that it is our property. So going back and forth to court with this guy, we eventually got him off the property. Now he's trying to get a judge to allow him to make a deal with us so he can have a settlement agreement, which I'm never going to do. This man came on our family cemetery where we visibly had about maybe 40 grave markers, if that, and now he's buried over 2,000 bodies on our cemetery. And I'm not going to say bodies anymore. I'm going to say remains because, cousin, there's a lot more going on than we ever even thought. Anyway, got him off the property, and now he wants to make a deal with my family to actually stay on the property and even purchase the property. And that's never what I wanted. What I wanted was for him to pay for the damages he did to the property, get off of the property, for that cemetery to be closed down, be made historic, so only my family can be buried out there, and we just want 600 graves because we have a lot of family, and anybody that wants to be out there with our Native American Indians, because the first part of the cemetery, I'm now finding out, was never turned into the name Pine Brook by our family. It was the Lenni Lenape and Cherokee Indian burial grounds. I found paperwork. That was the name of it. Somebody else changed the name of it in 1952, which was right when they were stealing all of the property from my great grandmother. So it's a lot of stuff that we're doing. I can't wait till it's done. Norris will keep you guys abreast because he's going to be on the committee for making it historic. We're going to put up arches. We're going to put them in tombstones, and it's going to be beautiful with a story to tell about our family, where they came from, and what they did when they were there. That's what we're going to do with the cemetery. The other property where they put up all of these markers for the veterans for the war. We have so many family members that were in the war that the whole street we're going to dedicate to our family and put up statues and placards of them to show what they did and the history of our family in Monmouth County, New Jersey, and that's in Eatontown. The cemetery is in Tinton Falls, New Jersey. So when I say New Jersey, the state of New Jersey, and Monmouth County, they were complicit with everything that happened to our family, from the dump to the highway to the Route 18 to that Wampum Park, our family being turned into a park where they only have crosses for white men and a statue of a white man that was in the Korean War. And my uncle, who grew up on that street, was a corporal in the Korean War, and they're about to erect a statue for him in the next couple of months. And we're going to do a big ceremony because I can't say it to them, but this is definitely the takeover because I'm taking it back. All
Absolutely.
of it.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm real proud of you. We all real proud of you. But a lot of people, you know, the thing about this channel is we want to put the clean glass next to the dirty glass, right? We don't have to condemn the dirty glass, right? But I know it's a lot of people out here that are looking for inspiration. They're looking for something to grasp onto that they know like can give them hope. And I know that what's going on over here, I know the things that we've been involved in for years, not just some stuff that we started doing. I know that this can inspire people, because when you show people something that's actually working, something that's happening, because people will say to you, they'll say, oh, or they'll say to me, you online arguing with us, why y'all ain't out there fighting them white folks?
It's already done. Being done.
That's what they don't know. Like, it's we're fighting on multiple levels. We fighting to help our people who are very confused. And we're trying to show y'all this: you don't have to be confused. You don't have to be ashamed of your African ancestry. You don't have to be ashamed of your European ancestry. All you have to do is be proud of who you are and stand on
Right,
what your ancestors did,
right,
whether they're
right,
Indian or whatever.
right.
And you will find great pride in that. So, you know, what you're doing speaks directly to when people try to spin the conversation to avoid accountability, because that's what it really is, right?
Yeah.
People don't want to be held accountable, so the first thing they say is, "You ain't arguing with them white folks." What'd you tell Eatontown when you pulled up on them at that ceremony, Carrie? What'd you tell the mayor? What'd you tell the town of Eatontown?
Cousin, I said so much stuff. What
Yeah,
did I tell him?
you
When I
said,
said I doubt if they're going to be planting flowers and stuff on my property, and I was
yeah,
just so confused as to how they're historians and trying to make something right for somebody that got hung in
man,
1886, 157 years ago, when you just stole this property from my great grandmother 25 years ago. Like, how are you a historian and you don't know that? Like,
mm-hmm,
it was so confusing. And then he said that I was angry, and I said, no, I'm not angry. And you got the video, and somebody
mm-hmm,
else yelled it out in the crowd. She's compassionate. And I said, that's it. I'm just
mm-hmm,
compassionate about my family. Like, you're not standing on your family's property when my cousin got shot and killed here in 1972 by the police, and they put a double barrel shotgun in his hand, which his whole head would have been blown off with pellets. He had a 45 slug in his neck. So you're going to right wrongs of injustice of a man that was hung 186 years ago. I expect you to do something about this. And like I told him, no, you're not the person who did it, but Eatontown is complicit. Because if I was to borrow a car from my cousin Norris and not ask him where he got it from, and now I'm being pulled over by the police, and they tell me this car is stolen, it was my responsibility to ask Norris, well, damn, you came down here on the train, where this car come from? So now the
mm-hmm,
city of Eatontown is in possession of my family property, and the property was actually stolen from her by her attorney. And I found out through attorneys that no attorney would ever acquire property from a client because it's unethical. He took her lifelong living rights. It don't matter. Her lifelong living rights from her before she even wrote up her will. And then what he did was he took the property 3 years from her prior. And then when she was about to die, he charged her to write up her will for property that he had already sold 2 years before she even died. So they know
mm,
they're complicit. And I sat down with the city attorney, and when I explained it to him, he just said to me, Miss Jones, what can I do for you? What you can do is, I got the information right here in your face. I got her deed. I got this fake deed that they wrote up the day that they met her. Then the deed doesn't say it wasn't even sold until 2 years after that. But these people got $2,400,000 some odd dollars in 1986, and then they turned around and gave this woman a will in 1991, and the property had been sold. How does the
mm,
city not know this? And then it was done by some Mammoth Conservation Foundation, which is a made up foundation. It was made up like 45 years ago. It's ran by a whole bunch of white people, never had a black person on the board. And Senator Ben Gopal from Tinton Falls is actually on the board right now as we speak. And he's running for election. And guess what I did last week? Went to his office and put a nice little sign on his door saying that he is down with the conspiracy for stealing black people's property in Monmouth County. And then I put up the picture of him with the daggone thing saying how he's on the board of trustees from this Monmouth Conservation Foundation, and they go around buying up all of this property, and it's property that basically belong to all of the black people. So what are you conservative for? And then you put the name of the Wampum Park, when you've given us no currency. So how
mm.
about a slap in the face? How about
Yeah,
a real sit on this and have fun? How about that?
yeah.
Because it's horrible and it's disgusting. So I asked them. I said, where did you get the name wampum from? And why was this the name chosen? No
Mm-hmm.
answer. Still no answer.
Shall know. Shall
No
know.
answer. No, they do
So
know. They did it to
no,
be.
I'm saying hell no. They not. They know, but they not gonna answer. Michelle,
Mhm.
know. They know. The Michelle,
They
what that represent.
they know.
So yeah, you told Eatontown as you extended the paperwork to the mayor, you said, Eatontown, I'm coming for you.
Oh yes, I did.
Right?
I did.
I'm
I'm
coming
sorry.
for you. Right? Powerful words. So I'm just saying that, and the more active we are, the more public we got to be for
Right.
certain reasons in terms of safety, right? We gotta ain't no more hiding, right?
Right.
Gotta be on the front line because that's probably the safest place on
Right.
some levels, right? So,
I think it's the next one.
like I said, people will run their mouth. They'll just say things that come out their mouth because I guess they expect if they don't know what's going on, it's not happening. If they haven't heard of it, it's not happening.
Right.
People know they know me, they know Turtle Gang, right? But now they get to know my cousin, who is a part of this, who's fighting on another front, right? That they haven't seen me on. But this is to show that this is a holistic fight, and it ain't just me out here running my mouth. It's
Right.
actual family members out here that are doing the real business. You know what I
Right.
mean? And now it's time for me to step in and help show the world, what real people are doing. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I just hope that on some levels people really get it that, it's a lot of talk going on, it's very little remedy.
Mhm.
So we showing you remedy, or at least how to achieve how to pursue the remedy. You know what I
Right.
mean? So what you're doing is instrumental. I don't like if people understand what it is you're explaining to them, you know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
gonna know how important your mission is, not only for yourself, but for
Stay
every
right
one
there.
of us who is gonna have to do this moving forward. So I just want to say I thank you for all your efforts. You know what I
No,
mean? And I'm
I
proud that you're
appreciate
my
it.
cousin.
I appreciate it, and I just want everybody to know if there's anybody out there, and you have a what you believe to be is your family cemetery in New Jersey, especially. If the last name is Brown and they say grandma buried in the family cemetery, I suggest that you do some paperwork. I promise you. Once all of this is over, that's going to be my job. How you doing? That's going to be what I want to do. I want to research and I want to help people get their property back because a lot of this stuff, people are just pushing papers and they're trying to persuade you into knowing that the property isn't yours and the stories they're telling isn't true. So I just want everybody to know, once me and Norris get this thing going a little bit better and we get things lined up, I want to be available to any and everybody that has any questions about any cemetery. If you had somebody buried in a cemetery and you feel like things weren't done right and something was done wrong, we need to connect because that's one mission I have. I want to take over the entire board of cemeteries for the state of New Jersey to get it right so we can get these families back their human remains, first of all, and the possession of their property.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, one of our in the chat asked, does the name Caldwell come up anywhere in our
Yes,
genealogy?
well, it does. C
No,
R O
Caldwell.
M W E L L.
No, Caldwell.
Caldwell,
CAL.
Caldwell. No, I know COLDWELL.
Yeah.
I have some friends with that last name. And it's crazy
Okay.
because I think I came across that name somewhere in Fairhaven. Somewhere
Possible.
in Fairhaven, I believe I just came across that.
Okay.
Hmm.
And Fairhaven is a Indian and Freeman town.
Oh yes,
Fairhaven was founded as an Indian and Freeman town. So,
yes,
I use the term Freeman, not like they're any particular people, just freed people,
right,
people who were freed,
right.
not like it's a specific group of people, just people who had been freed, people who had come through the Underground Railroad and
Hmm.
settled in Monmouth County, and Fairhaven was one of the first places they went and settled. And why? Because they were living with the Indians. Major
Right.
Indian town was there. So that's pretty much our history. Pretty much what we about, and hopefully, people will start to really get a sense for what's real and what's not, and maybe we can start helping people just kind of get a better understanding of what exactly is going on to us, whether you are native or you're African, because a lot of our African ancestors were able to accomplish things very early,
And they
right?
obtained a lot of property early.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and it's sad to say, I don't know how the rest of the country did with that 40 acres and a mule stuff. But when it came to our families were blessed and they were given tons of property that still has their names on it right now to this very day. And that's my mission, to get it all back.
Absolutely.
To get it all back.
Uh,
Because the one reason why, and I can say this, our ancestors acquired so much property, especially the African American ancestors, for the simple fact that they knew that it was their family's property, the Indians, before they took it over. And it's
yep.
sad to say that one of the slave masters is my fourth great grandfather, Mr. Fleming,
Hmm.
the horse breeder from Monmouth
Yep.
County. And he's the one that gave us that 1,800 acres back of our property. So, I mean, I don't know what happened to who and when it happened. All I could say is I believe the man tried to make something right before he left here. And I've never heard the tragic stories about the slavery part of our family. I've just heard about all of the acres that they owned and the lives that they produced for themselves afterwards. I never want to be like that crazy man, what's his name, Tim Scott, that's trying to run for president, that talked about how his grandfather went from picking cotton to now he's about to be or could be the president, and he act like his grandfather or great grandfather that didn't bother him. And I would never say that, because I can watch a movie and watch somebody get hit, and I've never spanked one of my kids in my life. I've never lifted my hand to hit, slap, grab one of my children in their life. So for somebody to physically beat you because you don't understand, or maybe you didn't do something right, I would never understand or agree with that. And I would never stand here and say that my ancestors didn't struggle. What I'm saying is, whatever they went through to get what they had to leave to us, it wasn't taken from them. It was taken from us. And I'm here to get it back.
We here with you. We're gonna stand with you. And the more people wake up and see what's real and start to stand with the real, we all can be effective. Because truthfully, we're gonna be in TNEC on Saturday the 17th, right? Everybody from North Jersey, Central Jersey, that's really talking that they about change and trying to stand up for who they are, they should be out there supporting it. They should be supporting everything, because there's so much going on in Jersey that if the Jersey, New York heads, if they stand up and really support these movements, they're gonna be able to make a big change. But it's up to them to come out and come off the internet and come actually out and show yourselves at these events that show that the people are waking up.
Amen. All I know is blessings on top of blessings. And I'm here to tell you, if anything been keeping you up at night concerning your family, or the family issues, especially stuff from the past, it's worth waking up, writing it down, and then trying to figure out what it is, because it's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
There for a reason. And we all have stuff to do in our life, that has to do with past and present. A lot of times we just don't understand it, because I just truly know that if my mom and a lot of my guy cousins that I know were like my mom's age or older, like these big, strong guys that I remember just being so powerful when I was younger, I know there's no way that they knew all of this stuff that I now have acquired. And there wasn't ancestry back then to have let all of this stuff happen and all of our property be taken away. There's no way it would have happened like that. But nobody knew.
Yeah,
Nobody
but
knew.
this
And that's the one thing. Don't ever be afraid to act like you didn't know your family history. Because I'm going to tell you something else. This is the next big thing. If you run out there talking about what you know, they're going to say, why didn't you do something about it later? I didn't know none of this stuff about my family except for the cemetery. That was the only thing I knew. Why? Because everybody's buried there. I had no idea that this whole cul-de-sac where all of these Ask Norris, $1 million houses are built at is on my family property. I had no idea, but I got all the paperwork now that says that it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. You just gotta dig deep, and you gotta want to do it, and it's worth it. And trust me, it's worth the fight. You will feel so much more relieved. You will feel so much better because it's almost like you're being driven to do something, and you kind of like you're driving blind, like, dang, how did I end up here, how did I end up there? And before you know it, everything is being done, and you're the one doing it. I still can't believe that I actually went to court with this young lady right here on a Zoom meeting in the back seat of this car, and won a court case against a lawyer that had been practicing law for 75 years.
Mm.
I
Mm.
never in my life imagined that I could do such a thing. Wrote up my own motions and just everything. And it was just like easy as pie.
And won the
And I
case.
won the case and had no idea what I was doing. I just did
Mm.
whatever made sense.
But you was in the right.
In the right.
You was in the right. You was in the
In the
right.
right. Was able to prove it. And I believe that's all any case is. Know what you're there for, know that you're right, and know how to prove it. Because all this man did was make up stories, and there's not one bit of factual proof to prove anything that he ever says. It's just a bunch of stories. He has no proof to nothing he says.
Mm. Sounds like a
But
lot of people are
he's worth,
online.
he's worth, wait, listen to this. He's worth $500 million, okay?
Mm.
Or
That don't
more.
sound like a lot of these people
So
then.
so this is what I've been up against.
Hmm. And this is somebody that went to the same high school as me. I think he was a senior
He
when I
went
was
to
a freshman. Monmouth
Monmouth
Regional.
Regional.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that used to own the boardwalk, the whole entire boardwalk, the Haunted Mansion, all of that stuff. This is him.
Yeah, yeah. I heard he went to Monmouth. He was like 4 years older than me. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Like, families really connected to, those families. Um,
yeah. They say he's a distant cousin to the Genoveses from New York,
yeah,
the crime family. He's a cousin to them. They're all down here in Tinton Falls. They're all over.
yeah, yeah. They all over. Yeah, they all over. This right across the
They're
water
all
from Manhattan, Brooklyn.
yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, that family been like I've known that family name as long as we've known our family name in terms of Stavola. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
yeah, but
Them too, cousin. Because
hmm
the bonus too, your grandfather wrote the article saying that they were going to try to steal the property, and now I find deeds with your grandfather's name, with my grandmother's name. It ain't no way in the world they sold this property to these people for a
yeah,
dollar, for a
for a
dollar,
dollar. No
for a
way.
dollar. 5 acres of property for a whole dollar. That's what they saying.
Now you said that he wrote a letter talking about these people from Ellis Island was coming to steal our land.
Yeah, he called them the immigrants. It's in that documentary that we have. When Cameron wrote the paper about
Hmm.
why they were stopped from being at the cemetery. In
Hmm.
there, when they give up all of the when they showed like our cousin David Ruffin and our cousin from the group, the average white band, and our cousin, the one that was did the Supreme Court. It's a picture of Leroy in there, and it's an article newspaper, and it says in there that he was complaining about his electrician shop that got destroyed in Seabright in a storm that was like Hurricane Sandy, and he wanted
Yeah.
to bring his business out there to Pine Brook, and he said he wasn't being allowed because the immigrants, he called them, the immigrants are coming to take our property.
Mm.
And now I find the deed with his name, your grandmother name, the third Peter Rock name. Now y'all, we all know the third Peter Rock. How his name
Yeah.
on a piece of paper?
So he the one that he was the one that used to drink, right?
Right, the one that they would find him wandering off, and he was always leaving Asbury, going back out to the woods.
Hmm.
But they even got his name on a piece of paper. That's why I told you, when you come back down and you see all of these other deeds to that property out there that I found, honey, cousin, they owe us the world. You hear me? They owe us the
Hmm.
world. And we're going to drive that 45 minutes from that one stump all the way out to show you where all the rest of that other property is.
Yeah, we're gonna line it up real soon. Um,
I hope so.
yeah, I got a bunch of things going on. So, cause thank you. I'm gonna be here. We're gonna try and do this as much as possible. You know what I mean? Just build up a nice little resume of topics and stuff we can talk about, and continue the conversation. So I thank you. It's been a little more than an hour. We started about 10:30, it's 11:47. So about an hour is what we was looking for. So thank you, cuz. If you're available,
I
see you
appreciate
tomorrow.
it. And don't forget, y'all, this is the real. Can you take it?
This is the real. And when we start getting them
The real.
callers calling in, it's gonna be real.
Yes.
It's
And
gonna be
just,
the real.
yes, yes, yes. And now I know I can pass the link on to people. So we gonna make it work, cousin.
All right, cuz. So thanks a
Love
lot, and
it. I'm so excited.
I'm gonna check on you tomorrow and we'll see what's going on. All right, cuz?
Yes, please do. Love you much.
All
Blessings,
right, love you, cuz.
everybody.
Have a good day. Peace.
You too. Bye.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. We'll be back, cousin Carrie, tomorrow. Anybody who ever wants to call in and ask cousin Carrie questions, speak with her directly, please feel free. Says she has a lot of wisdom to share in terms of applicable knowledge. All right. So got a couple things to do today. I'll probably be back at some point today. I'm gonna be up in Harlem. So y'all have a good day. Go get it. Peace. Hey, what's up? This is the Big Twist Show, episode 11, Grown Up Conversations. Got some special guests in the building. I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Go ahead to the right of me or to the left of me. Where we going? Where we going? Up top. What's your name? Nope, you on mute. Everybody unmute. It's all love.
I'm mute, Danae.
There you go. There you go. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name's Danae, and I'm calling from Sacramento, California.
Okay. Right under you. Who we got there?
How you doing?
What?
My name is Norris, calling from Brooklyn, and looking forward to the conversation.
That's what's up. And last but not least, we got the co-host today. What's up? What's your name? Introduce yourself, girl.
My name is Liz, aka LGD Poet, but also known as Static Liz, right?
Right?
Yeah,
That should just be like this. Sonny? That should be like.
Don't be hating.
You good though. So you know what? I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I'm gonna just let Liz take control, ask us the questions. What questions you got for us?
Well, okay, so let's just start this way. I am guest co-hosting today. We're gonna just talk about certain things that I just came across TikTok, and I wanted to get you guys' perspective, especially the men's perspective.
Okay.
So I am actually in California, Southern California, LA, in my car right now. So excuse myself. Excuse you. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a rough afternoon. But basically, what I want to talk about, or what we want to discuss, is perspective from men as it pertains to, let's say, here's the first question. Do you guys think that women need men in their lives? And I want to hear from the men's perspective. And now I'll ask, what's behind your name, Turtle Gang?
What's behind my name? Okay,
Yeah.
So my family are descendants. We are Lenni Lenape Cherokee descendants, as well as African and European. But we grew up in our cultural traditions and our territories, so we follow the ways of the turtle. So when I created my company, which is Turtle Gang Edutainment, rather than use Turtle Clan, which is our traditional title, I chose the term gang because I felt like it would be the time we were moving into. I felt like it was something that would be more attractive to the youth, and I could use it to kind of drag them into some educational things in terms of culture. So I attached gang to turtle, and it kind of, like, for me, when I think of Turtle Gang, I think of our gang. So rather than think of like a menacing gang, think of a gang of kids coming together trying to move through life. So Turtle Gang is the name of my company. It's an educational company that uses art form, media art, to teach a history that has probably been left off the table in terms of, the hidden, I don't want to say hidden history of America because that sounds too conspiracy driven, but there's stories that have not been told concerning demographics of people. And my company was about giving them a voice. So that's what Turtle Gang is.
I like that. Because you're actually trying to take the negative connotation of that term gang and put it into something positive. It is very from my perspective, at least in the culture, a little bit deceiving for me. But I love that you're expanding that and trying to change it into something more positive as opposed to what we're so accustomed to.
And that was the concept of it. You have to understand that I've had this company for almost 20 years. So before the gang was a part of that everyday narrative, you know, I was Turtle Gang before that term became so popular. You know what I mean? But I kind of saw where, I mean, we all from the same environments. We know what attracts the kids. So I was just wanted to use that to bring them into something more cultural. And when you look at gang culture and tribal culture, it's very similar. What's missing is the feminine aspect, the matriarchal perspective from gang culture. If you remove the matriarchal aspect from culture, you get gang culture. If you add it, you get tribal culture. So we're not too far off from who we are. It's just a matter of inserting the right elements, and I think we can help our people without having to destroy the structures that they have. If you can.
How are you doing that though? How are you implementing the feminine aspect of it into the Turtle Gang?
Well, we follow traditional ways, and our traditional ways are, you know, like our councils are set up a certain way, the way our culture is set up. So this is not it's not an overnight remedy. It's something that has to do with culture. So when we talk about the feminine aspect, we just more or less talking about, we all know that we all went to grandma's house and not grandpa's house. We know how our families were running. You know what I mean? We know the women had more of the say so and the men were more of the, you know what I mean? So we got to get back to that. So what I'm talking about is the village that raised our kids. What's missing is that you don't know that Miss Johnson is your distant aunt. That's the difference. It's the knowledge. So we know that our neighbors could beat us when we was growing up. At least when I was growing up, our neighbors could beat us, right? We would say it takes a village,
for real.
right? But what was lost is that Miss Johnson, who you think is your neighbor, is really your mother's third cousin, and y'all all come from a village that existed
your lineage,
in 1800s, right? But you don't understand these things because now here we are I grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, not realizing that these people in my community are not just neighbors, they're family. So that is the matriarchal aspect of it, the knowledge of your kinship, right? Which is through the female blood. This is all dealing with, or the female line, not just the blood. So this is all dealing with indigenous cultures, and reason why we crazy is because we lack our indigenous foundation. So
I know we digressed a little bit right there, but I did kind of listen to I actually did listen to what you were saying, but that kind of actually stemmed into what the question that I was posing was, do women need men in their lives? And the fact that, you know, you're connecting the whole indigenous aspect of behind your Turtle Gang and your business, do you strongly believe that as women, even in today's culture, need men in their life?
So
and the cookie need, and in what aspect?
Absolutely. So when we look at the relationship of men and women, right, when we take it to the original foundation of it, right, remove all this love and all these layers that we put on top of the relationship. Relationships were primarily based on what? Security, right? Being able to provide, things of that nature, right? When your tribes were involved in putting people together, they were doing it with the concept of being able to provide, right? Being able to, like, the whole concept of women being attracted to the man who has the most is really the modern expression of being attracted to the man who can protect you the most, right? Very, very animalistic, very basic, right? So we have technology today that allows us to move past the basic of who we are, right? So a lot of people in today's society, does a woman need a man? She don't need a man to pay her bills. She don't need a man to do the functional things in life. But we're talking about correcting the wrongs in our societies. Every man needs a woman and every woman needs a man, and it's no, you know what I mean? They just need to know their place.
That's what it is right there.
Our culture.
That's what it is right there.
I agree with that because even though I feel from my own personal perspective, from my opinion, that I do need a man, and I think women do need men because there's certain roles that we play. There's certain roles. I've seen a close friend of mine right now who his role as a father is vital in how he's raising his boys, and he's raising them well, in my opinion. He's very involved. But then I've seen other men who are just present there, my dad included. My dad was there physically, but my dad was not there emotionally. My dad was not there in other aspects. He was a provider, but there's more to being a father involved in a person's life, or a father or a man in a woman's life. I particularly think that we need strong men, not just as providers, but emotional security, and other aspects. I do believe that we need men. So I do.
Definitely. You know, women are emotional. You know what I'm saying? And the
men are too.
Man is there to calm that down, though. Hey, it's real though. Women are emotional, and you know we should be there to calm that emotion down, to help calm that down. You know.
But if you've never had that, if you've never had that or experienced that as a woman, for a man to take on that the role of provider, protector, if you've never had that, and I'm gonna say for myself, I've never had that ever. So in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, that would be amazing. Like, you know, that's the way my mind would work. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, God created man first and then woman, so he could have a companion. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking that in biblical terms that way. So then it's like, yeah, then I do need a man. But from my point of view, I've never had that security. I've always been the one to provide, even with both my marriages. You know,
it also goes to where though, like it's different layers on that. Like, how are you picking your man? Where are you picking your man?
Right.
You know, are you getting to know this man? Are you rushing something because you feel lonely, or vice versa with that person?
Yeah.
So there's different layers. You know,
you
just like you can take your time with someone and they show their, you know, they take off their mask later on, a year or 2 or 3 down the line. You know, so it's taking a gamble, you know.
It is really taking a gamble.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. You said something, Tony, where it also depends on who you're selecting, and I think a lot of that goes into you have to go inward and see what it is that you're attracting, what it is that you need to heal, because in essence, you know, even though a lot of people say you are what you attract, I don't always believe that, because
I was about to ask you about that. They say that, but I don't know about that though.
I don't necessarily believe that, because I'm not a cheater. I'm not a particular type of way, but for some reason I've attracted that, but I have chosen now to look at myself and see why is it that I'm allowing to entertain that, as opposed to I feel like I'm going to attract all types of people, good, bad, whatever, but it's discerning on who I should allow to come into that space of mine. So then I can go ahead and, I guess, entertain better, and then select better for everybody.
Yeah, what you said, I want Norris Turtle Gang to elaborate on that. It's what you allow. Like, what do you allow? How long do you allow it for? You know, it's a trip, because when you get in a relationship, y'all move in together, y'all start getting bills together, and then it's like sometimes you take on more of that bullshit because of when y'all came together, what y'all accumulated, like just the situation. Can you elaborate on that for me?
It's 100.
Right. Turtle Gang, can you elaborate on that for me?
So, are we talking about
how much you allow to
in terms of what?
Putting up with someone, trying to put up with someone, like how much bullshit would you allow?
So,
how did you say it is?
But you also have to narrow it down to what's the bullshit.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, right? All this stuff.
It weighs out. Yeah.
I'll break it down to being as shallow as possible. All right, let's look at the shallow stuff, right? Just so you understand.
I'm not shallow though. Okay, but
no.
you being shallow, but just as a society,
But I just want, as just let's just look at it for what
now.
it is. Right?
Like,
if a woman has a man that has money, you're gonna put up with more stuff from him. If a man has a woman that has the perfect body he wants, he's gonna put up with more stuff from her, and that's just how it goes. So, when can we be honest with ourselves, and then so we can be honest with each other? I think we live in a world now where 90% of the people can't be honest with themselves. So we can enter into all the relationships and agreements we want, but until you're able to be honest with yourself, how are you gonna be honest with the person you with? So, what are we doing? We're just engaging in physical relationships.
And I ain't playing house.
It's a part of society we live in.
Right.
Okay, so how about when we get to the point of being totally honest with ourselves and honest with the other person, where do we draw that line in as it pertains to actually expanding a relationship or growing a relationship? Like, I understand that, I guess there's terms such as like, what are your non-negotiables?
Okay,
I don't really know how to drive around that. That's the best way I can explain it. I don't know how to maneuver around those things. I've done a lot of the commitment, and I've done it for 20 years, and then I did another situation for like 3 years. So how do you maneuver around those things?
So we have a saying in my community, in my neighborhood, we grew up: A alike, B alike, C alike. Right?
Repeat that again.
So A alike, B alike, C alike. Right? So you find people that you're A alike, that you think alike with, and those are the people you're supposed to be with, because those are the people that you see things. Right? So what we do is we settle for people who are unalike. Why? Because unalikes attract. See?
Opposites attract.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So we're attracted to the things that are unlike us, but is that going to facilitate us, i.e., toxic relationships? We're attracted to all that stuff, right?
Right.
This is why being honest with yourself allows you to navigate through it. You know what I mean? Like, it really just comes down to, so can you, as somebody who's being honest with yourself, find somebody else who's being honest with themselves, and then be honest with each other? That's the problem. Different people come together at different times in different relationships, levels of maturity. All these things is happening.
Right.
There's so many
which is why, like
just like you said, being honest with yourself. You know, a lot of people know they're damaged and still want to throw themselves in a relationship. You know, and you know
what, Tony, when you use that term, a lot of people. Sorry to cut you off. When I heard you,
you ain't, because you did.
Term, I did. Okay, I did.
No, but it's good because you know you're supposed to, because we got, we trying to get in there and get our thoughts. You know I got to mess with you, girl.
Yeah, that's true. We're always going to be honest with each other. Now you said when people know that they're damaged. I hate that term, by the way, because it sounds so negative towards like somebody who's actually, let's say, going through a journey in life. Maybe that's the better term that I like to use, but you can say whatever you want to say. But I personally see like that term is such a negative stamp on somebody that nobody will want to be around somebody who's per se damaged. But if people understand that people go through particular journeys in their own individual lives, then we can probably maneuver together and allow somebody the space to grow and then inevitably change.
I feel you, but
I think
damage,
words
I
are
like
powerful.
damage. I like damage because I didn't got out of relationships to where I was damaged. I was emotionally damaged. Women get physically damaged. Damaged. I like that word, but I got you, sis. I got you over there.
Okay, but do you think I need to be a little bit more real? Do you think women like me who want to hear probably, and this is an honest thing about
like,
myself.
Dang, girl, you damaged. Like, that's not.
And even in this conversation, I can say that I'm learning that perhaps I'm so sensitive to certain terms that I need to actually learn to accept the reality that this world isn't so sensitive to me or anybody else like me. I just have to accept it.
Soon as you realize that,
Turtle Gang.
So, like, for me, damage is a part of being honest. I know I'm damaged. I know I've been through something. It affected me, and I'm fighting my way back. But like I run into storms. I don't run from it. So when you run into a storm, you deal with it right away. When you run from it, you start to take it personal because now you think the storm is chasing you, when really it's just running this course.
Right. I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying that that doesn't negate the fact that some of us understand we've gone through some hard times in life. Like I've gone through some hard things, and Tony knows the latter part of last year was hard for me, and I went into a different situation, different place. I was, he knows what happened to me, but that doesn't negate the fact that I went through some experiences in life. It's just, I guess certain words are so negative and so branding to somebody, such as like a victim mentality or victim. I don't necessarily like to use victim anymore, or I don't like to use the word. That's just my preference. The word change, the word
absolutely
change, as opposed to grow, because with growth, change occurs.
Survivor. You're a survivor. You know, I got on my arm resilient because, and I got that tattoo. I was taking a domestic violence survivors conference, and they asked us to pick one word that meant something to us. And I'm like, oh, it's like one of those questions, like, where are you gonna be in 5 years? I'm like, I don't, one word. And then it came to me, resilient. Like, okay, I've allowed myself to, put up with this and that, and I'm a survivor. I refuse to play the victim role. And this is one of my, I love this quote. I'm bent, not broken. Bent, not broken. Right. And I have it on the back of my truck because a sticker. It's just, we're gonna be bent. You're gonna bend. You're gonna sway. You're gonna, things are never gonna just be like the straight and. I mean, why would you want?
You're always gonna have your test.
You're always gonna be growing if you choose to. There's always gonna be change. There's always gonna be. So even though we may feel broken and have gone through things that may have broken us for a period of time, or we feel, down and out about it, bent, not broken. And that's what I think in my head is like, I mean, I got my issues. We all have our stuff, but I would rather know that I can sway and maneuver and bend and make different choices, make different decisions based on the situation, based on the friendship, based on the relationship, however it may be. But I refuse not to be broken.
Again, I'm basically stating it doesn't negate the fact that the situation or whatever happened, or whatever experiences you've experienced. It's just, I guess, a choice of words that we're utilizing when we express ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times we spend a lot of time talking about how we describe a phenomenon, and we're describing the same phenomenon. So, we all speaking about being in the same place, right? Yeah. So if broken comforts him, right? Or resilient, whatever, but we all talking about the same space, occupying the same space. And that's what's really important. So,
and that's mutual respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question.
Sis? What else you got for us?
The next question. Oh, this one. This one actually was supposed to be the first question.
She's like,
this.
Some of us single women are not in the dating world yet, but when we choose to be, let's say, in the dating world, is it recommended for both men and women to date? I think men more lean on that anyways. Is it better to date multiple people at the same time, or just one at a time? And so let's ask Tony that question, because I'm trying to get the man's perspective. Tony.
Okay. There's like two parts. It's like, if I'm dating Liz, I don't want to know that Liz is out dating hella other men. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm trying to get to know Liz. I don't want to know your business. I shouldn't ask. But then again, on the other hand, it's like, you should tread through the water until you find what you're looking for. You should go out and have fun, and look and keep looking until you find, just be smart about how you do it. Be smart about how you move, be respectful to yourself. keep it 100 with yourself, and yeah, you know, I feel like it's okay. But if I'm dating Liz or Danae, I don't want to know y'all dating other.
Right,
And
but
what are we talking about dating? What's dating?
okay,
I
Courting?
don't know what date.
courting,
Court.
courting,
Courting?
no
Okay.
sex, no sex,
Right.
courting,
You said courting sex or just courting
no sex, courting, no sex, out to
Right,
dinner,
right.
whatever. Like
If,
you know,
if I'm really
you know.
into someone though, I don't want to know she's dating other men. What is she getting a dinner out of me tonight and then going to the movies out of the you know the next dude? She like I don't want to know your business. You know what I'm saying? So
what about you? Would you be okay with you seeing multiple women, or would you actually only allow yourself to just entertain her, one individual at a time?
it depends on how much I like her. You know what I'm saying? Like it just really depends. It gets real expensive for us men to be dating multiple women. You know, that shit get a little bit ridiculous. But it depends on how I like you. You know what I'm saying? Seeing how your vibe is. A lot of women don't have morals these days. It's bad, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna do what I do, but I ain't gonna let you know. I ain't gonna let the right hand know what the left hand doing. So
Right.
that's where I'm at.
But would you judge the person when they say you're very interested in, and then you find out that she's dating multiple people?
I mean, would I
What if she was
judge
just
her
dating
if I
one
found
other
out? Huh?
What if she was just dating one other person, like dating you and just one other person, not like 2, 3, 4?
Would I get upset if I found out the woman that I'm dating is dating multiple men at the same time?
But what does dating look like to you in that scenario?
If you're talking about courting, I don't, man.
See, that's what I'm saying. It gets just
it depends on how I feel about her. You know what I'm saying? It really depends. It really.
Okay, can I ask you? This is like
let's ask Turtle Gang that shit.
Okay, well, can I pose this question to both of you, to the gentlemen?
Okay.
What exactly is courting?
I don't know. Is courting like exclusively dating somebody?
Dating, no sex.
Dating you? Or is courting just I've taken you out and wherever it goes, like
Danae?
I'm asking you.
Answer that,
I'm asking you guys.
Courting back in the day meant it was one person that was committed to you, no sex. In fact, they used to put you in the zippers for you and then the black ink. If you went to kiss the girl,
what the hell?
They knew that you had black.
I don't know what
I'm
going somewhere else. You got
serious.
No, we don't know about that shit.
That's how it started.
What we're meaning right now.
That's how courting started. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
That's the background of it.
I never courted.
Oh, okay.
So there was no touching. You couldn't touch. You couldn't see the female's body.
Wait a minute. Hey, Norse is one of the. I swear to God, is one of the smartest men I know. Negro, you know what courting is. You asked this. He's a dictionary. He's an encyclopedia. He is. He really is.
I said I never courted. That was like my father courted my. Nah, he didn't even court my mother. My grandfather courted my grandmother.
There you go. That's what I'm saying.
That's the last bit of courting done in my family because my father had 15 kids.
Right. And he's like, oh, I want to, you know, yeah.
So, I was never taught to court.
I don't think that people court these days.
Take it to the court. How about that? That's all. Talk about court. That's what we're talking about.
I don't think.
Okay, so then how
the question is what again, Liz? Would we what?
The original question, because I started with now I want to know what, since you both of you gentlemen, Mr. Turtle Gang, said he didn't court, how would you attract a woman, and how did you, Big Wiz, attract your woman?
Did you call me Big Wiz?
Big Twist, sorry.
Oh my God.
That was so funny. He said Big Wiz. You know what she's thinking about.
That's the amateur comedian.
Nancy cracking up, yo. Shout out to my engineer, Nancy. Fancy Nancy. That's funny. Okay, so the question is, say it again, please.
The original question or the one that I posted?
The one you just asked. That shit was funny, Big Wiz. I'm gonna have a Big Wiz in a minute. Shit, I'm gonna have to go Big Wiz in a minute drinking all this water. But what was your question?
How did you guys, if you have a significant other already, I know you do, Big Twiz, how did you basically attract her and made her your significant other? And the same question would be to Mr. Turtle Gang. Do you have one, and how did you do that? Since you said you did in court.
How I did. I'm gonna let my big bro go first.
All right. So for me, growing up, I have to be completely honest. Like, I ain't start dating probably till I went to college. Just being honest. All right. So all that 13 years old and all that, I ain't got none of them stories. I was square. I was a sport dude. I ain't start doing, you know what I mean? I played ball, like quiet, did my work, didn't get caught up in a lot of things. That's why all my friends have kids 10 years older than my kids. My son, you understand? Like, real talk. So, for me, meeting women was usually as organic as it can be. I don't run down. I don't catcall. I don't be in the club trying to pick you up. If we don't meet in an organic setting, it's probably not going to happen for me. You know what I mean? And because of that, I don't have a laundry list of women. You know what I mean? I don't got a whole bunch of bad situations, but the situations I was in kind of mean a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I can look at 3 relationships in my life that all meant something, right? Third one being my ex-wife. And, you know, we just met because we had common things. I let the universe take care of that. I don't push, you know what I mean? I'm not a wolf. So I might not be the best to talk to when it comes to quote unquote, you know what I mean, picking up women or the approach, you know what I'm saying? I don't move like that.
That's great. I like to see all types of men and how you guys engage with people in the opposite sex, because it's kind of refreshing to see that, you know, there are men out there that don't necessarily go out there and have multiple women and do all of these.
If I could just tell you, so just to give you a picture, my grandmother had 16 kids, 3 boys. So I come from a family of women controlling everything. You know what I'm saying? My mother and my father didn't stay together, so I was raised by my mother, raised by my aunt. So I know that I have a overwhelming amount of respect for women. Almost on some levels growing up, I probably had too much respect for them because I was respecting women the way I respected my elders. Just listen to what I'm saying. I'm respecting the girls I grow up with in school the way I'm respecting my elders.
Damn.
So when I say too much, I'm saying from that perspective.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You're not my grandmother. Feel me? Like, but I still have that overwhelming amount of respect for women because I see that.
That's
I come
admirable.
from a different kind of background though. So I just kind of want you to kind of understand, like we had a little different ways about how we, you know what I mean? Like the women were everything to us. So,
and that's not really typical these days.
Yeah,
it's very rare to come by.
My dude's a special dude, man. Hey, my dude's a special dude, man. I can tell. I'm not talking about little bus either. That's a great dude right there.
The only reason I have that expression is because I don't think there's such thing as too much respect for women. You should have just men and women should have respect for each other, period.
I agree with you, but I shouldn't be looking at a woman in the party twerking and feel like I can't talk to her because I respect her the way I respect my grandmother. That's all I'm saying. Like, she is in the party twerking. That's all I'm saying.
He's not going to be attracted to somebody who's going to be doing those types of things.
Yeah, so it's not that, like, that sounded crazy. That's not what I mean.
No, I'm
just saying, in levels of respect, you earn your keep. Feel me?
And everybody should be made to earn, you know what I mean, a certain level of respect from you. That's all I'm saying. And maybe I didn't hold women accountable to their own. You know what I'm saying? I was just giving them you're a woman, let me.
But that speaks a lot about you as a man, which is why I keep on saying that's a very admirable characteristic to have. Because I'm assuming that you have a lot of respect for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be alone before I'll be with somebody I don't want to be with. So yeah. I mean, but what else? I mean, I don't know. I'm my only child. I never had a problem being alone. So a lot of other people have a problem being alone. You know what I'm saying? So how they deal with it is how they deal with it. I just know I never had that problem.
Right.
And I don't think you answered the original question, because we totally digressed here and there. If it's suggested from your perspective to date multiple people at the same time, both men and women.
So once again, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this. Like, I dated 2 women at one time in my life, and it was probably the biggest debacle in my life. You know what I'm saying? So all that juggling and that's never been me. I'm once I text somebody sent, that's all I'm focused on. I'm not all that.
Yeah, but how long did it take you to realize that? Because for me, if I'm dating 2 different guys, I don't feel like, if we're just dating and we're just getting to know each other, I don't need to tell either one of them about the other one unless I'm sleeping with both of them.
Yeah, I don't date. I don't date. I wait around.
I want the whole, let me get to know you. In reality, I want that. Let me get to talk to one person. Let me get to focus on that one person. I would love for that to happen. And I've done that many, many of times. And it ends up being where it's like, okay, now I've just, I thought it was taking, I'm taking the time to get to know this person. We've been talking for a couple months. We've been hanging out. And then all of a sudden it's like things change. And it's like, I could have, there was somebody else that was also interested at the time I met that person. And now that person, the other person that I was interested in, is now gone because I spent so much time putting all this, my effort and and everything into this other person, only to figure out like that wasn't going to be a long-term relationship, when I really thought it was. I was led to believe that it was going to be a long-term relationship. So now I feel like I just gypped myself, because why not? Why not?
Wasn't meant for
she
you,
said, "I'll keep them hoes on the side." That's what she said. She said, "I'll keep them hoes on the side."
This is another way to look at it, right? So growing up, this is how the older men taught us younger men. He said, "Listen, it's 9 planets in the solar system. The sun got 9 planets, only 1 Earth. Every planet has got its own orbit, right? And as long as they stay in their perfect orbit, none of them planets will collide. So if you can maintain your universe and your planets don't collide, then, right? But as soon as them planets start colliding, you out of order and it's your fault." So we was taught that you can have as
my planets don't collide.
She said, "I'm a pimp, bitch. My planets don't collide, bitches."
So if you can keep your planets from colliding, that's you. I'm not. It's one Earth, and I focus on that Earth. That's how I look at it.
What about
but I'm
you,
aware of
Liz?
the other planets, though.
Right.
And
you, Liz? What do you think about that? Do you think it's okay to date? Now, we're not talking about sex, but do you think it's okay to like
court
multiple, little friends?
This is what I will say this. I respect everybody's individual decisions to do what they want to do. Personally, for me, I can only pay attention to one person at a time, and I choose to pay attention to one person at a time. I did it when I was involved in a relationship for 20 years. that was my person for 20 years. Then after that, another person for 3 years. I do not know, and I don't have the energy to give energy to spread myself thin to multiple people. I just entertain and give my all to see where it really goes with one particular person at a time.
You boring. Next question, Nick Rowe.
No, that's just.
I'm just messing with you.
Y'all,
they all fall in love. But I do give them my time. They all eventually like who I am, and I like who they are, because as Turtle said earlier, it's like there's this like-minded particular things that we get along, but then there's certain things that we won't always get along with. We are different individual people. We're authentically who we individually are. We can respect that and move forward and love and respect each other.
No, like you said, that's admirable. That's cool. You know, I feel either way is cool. Either way,
but it's
cool.
like I said, to each their own.
Just direct yourself the right way. You know what I'm saying? Just. You know.
I don't judge anybody. What you do before coming into somebody's life is on them. But this is something that this is something I had to learn, right? I was taught that, okay, so think of yourself as like, okay, you a sun that shines. You got your own shine, right? You always going to shine, but sometimes you might not shine as bright. So if I'm talking to a woman and I know she'll date to talk to multiple women, her shine ain't going to be as bright on me. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I'm not, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that. I'm not.
She putting herself in. Yeah. You're not getting all of it.
Like, because I don't feel like I'm a little, like, I ain't gonna say conceited or nothing, but I don't feel like it's like every man should feel that way. Another man ain't gonna bring what you bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is equal or better. Right? If you're not dealing with somebody that's equal or better, you know what I mean? And I see how dudes move out here, whether they got money or they don't got money. I know ain't too many of them moving righteous. So you're not gonna have me exchanging energy with somebody who I know ain't righteous. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we both dealing with the same person, that means our energies is gonna be at some point overlapping, and I don't want none of that. And I don't want him giving you a hard time, then you come and now we're arguing about something that he did to you.
And you know what? At the same time, if we like someone, we're gonna let them know right away, hey, I like you, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna establish how we feel, what we want to get out of this right away. I'm pretty sure Norris is the same way. Like, hey, you know what? I like you. I ain't tripping about no other chicks, but I want to, see where this can go. You just establish.
We'll definitely. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Oh,
but
that's you.
I want to say, just we're definitely going to respect the way that Danae, has her way of dealing with.
No, I understand her way too. No, I understand her way too.
Listen, that's the thing.
I like her way. Shit.
My son's mother.
Girl, are you crying?
Why are you crying?
Why are you crying?
What's wrong?
Go ahead. It's an open platform.
We need to hear.
Listen. Go ahead.
What's up? You okay? What's going on with you? What's up?
So I met a guy almost a year ago.
Okay.
And total gentleman, like.
Hold on, Danae, take a deep breath real quick. Take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. Yeah.
So I was out one night with one of my best girlfriends, just hanging out, having a girls' night. And I didn't plan on meeting anybody, and I ended up meeting this guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like total sweetheart, like cowboy hat, just very attractive, very gentleman, total gentleman. And he said to me, I would love to take you out on a date. Can I have your number? So I gave him my number. And the next day he messaged me and said, I'm really glad I met you last night. I think you're beautiful. I would love to take you to dinner. He's like, I'm not trying to sound desperate, but are you free tonight? It was happened to be a Friday night. And I said, you know what? I am available. We had the best time, and we spent 6.5 months dating. But I knew by like our second date, in my head, I was like, I want to marry. Like my goal, I want to marry this guy. Like just all the morals, the value, just it was like, where did this guy come from? I've been, praying for somebody like him and six and a half.
You took all your walls down because how you felt, how he made you feel. It made you take your walls down and just leave yourself wide open.
Just for him.
Right.
I even stopped dating somebody that I had started dating 10 years ago. Like everything. I cut everything off for 6.5 months. And then 6.5 months goes by and we started spending less time together. And I was like, he's working, whatever. And come to find out, he ended up telling me that he was going to take a trip to Southern California around Thanksgiving this last year and was going to try to talk to a gal that he had used to date a couple years ago and was thinking about getting back together with her. So he ended up going to Southern California to talk to her and then moved her here. And they still live together. Even though.
So you feel like you wasted your time?
I don't feel like I wasted my time. And I feel not that I wasted my time. This motherfucker can't leave me alone, by the way.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait. You said he can't leave you alone. So now that he has this woman back here, are you still entertaining him?
I will still let him take me to dinner. I'll still let him take me to lunch. I'll still let him buy me stuff.
I think Big Twiz's expression is very, very loud.
Hold on.
We're friends? We're friends.
You said, hey, you made me feel so good. Then you went down to LA, brought a bitch back. But we still friends, though. What?
I've tried to like literally stop talking to him, and he just shows up at my door. Let's go to lunch.
So you like, okay, what the fuck? Did I just hear that?
But my point is that I put my time, and I'm a single mom of 3, full time. I don't get a break.
Okay, yeah, wrap this. I want to know.
So for me, and you know what? I should have stopped talking to him the minute that he brought her back here. And you know what? Now we all go to the same church.
Okay, so then
anyway, moving on.
Yourself, you go. Well, you brought us into this now, so we're gonna.
So 6.5 months into it,
so
he's now going back to. So I spent 6.5 months of my life introducing him to my children.
Oh, and the children too.
Him buying gifts for the children. Him paying for things for the children. And then you bring her back after 6.5 months, and I'm like,
Danae.
Yesterday we were together, and now today she's moved here.
What are you gonna do now?
Oh, I'm trying to date other people. I don't know. I'm trying to date somebody.
Maybe you should just take some time to yourself.
Well, that was a while ago.
So we're not.
That was 6 months ago.
So
well,
6
you're
months.
being affected by it, so you have.
I think you should do whatever you truly want to do in your heart and not worry about what nobody else says. That's what I truly think. I'm just be honest with you. Whatever you fit, if you fit, like this is the thing. This is what I mean when I say being honest with yourself. You know how many times I've sat there and said, I'm not calling her.
Yeah.
And then call her. Just be honest with yourself. Listen.
I ain't gonna lie. I have nothing to hide.
You're going to go through what you're going to go through. Love, hell, or right. You got to go through hell to get to heaven.
I'm not in love with him no more. I don't love him.
Dude. Hey, if anybody asks, that's my ninja.
I'm just saying you're going to have to go through it. You got to crawl before you can walk.
Right.
It is what it is. Like,
This is what I mean when I say being honest with yourself. If being honest means laying in that bed for a week feeling sorry for yourself, it ain't the best thing for you. Everybody gonna tell you not to. But if that's what it takes for you to get through that, then you get through that and keep it moving. That's being honest.
agree. I agree, but sometimes we have to rip that damn bandage, and I've done that. I've had
Well,
to. I've done that. Sometimes I had to just rip that shit. Excuse my language. Rip that off. I'll be like, it hurts like hell.
That's why you gotta have good friends around you.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit though. But like he said, you gotta do what makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? Just it's something that happened in your life. Take it as a blessing and learn from it. Maybe sometimes don't take that wall down. You know what I'm saying? But
and I don't know how to not do that.
Well, so let me say this about that. Let me say this about that. Don't ever feel bad about being a good person, being a righteous person, even if it left you wanting, even if it left you getting the short end of the stick. If you the righteous person and you did the right thing, not just by you, but by that person as well. Yeah. And just know that, because listen, in 10 years, 15 years, all these people are going to realize, damn, everybody realizes their mistake. Yep. It's a matter of time, but they all going to realize it. Yep. So when they look back and go, damn, that girl ain't never really did nothing wrong to me. Like,
yeah, I was about to say, did she do anything wrong?
He tells me to this day, you didn't do anything wrong. He's like, I just realized it. I decided I want to make things work with her. But I think you're gorgeous.
I mean, at least he was honest with you. You know what I'm saying?
No, but he wasn't honest with me at first. I ended up finding out for myself because I saw a picture of them together. I was like,
you know what? It is what it is. Just learn. What is the? Tell me this, Danae. Danae, what is the lesson that you learned from that situation?
My lesson that I learned is I choose to not just date one person at a time.
And if that works, if that's what makes you feel good and makes you feel, then that's perfect for you. And don't let nobody.
I can decide for myself if I want to make the time and who I want to make the time for.
That's right, girl. That's right, Gina. That's right, girl.
And neither one of them has to know about each other because that's my business. That's my life. Unless we're taking the next step to where it's like, okay, we're not just dating anymore. Now we are gonna be in a committed relationship. When it gets to that point, then there is just gonna be one.
Now check this out. Just like you have the freedom to make that decision and that call for yourself, whoever you dating has the freedom to make the call for themselves. If they find out you dating somebody else,
oh, they know.
I don't want to deal with you no more.
Oh, they know though.
Be mad at that. Everybody is free to do the right thing.
They don't have a problem. They might have a problem deep down, but they still.
I'm just saying that the same way you like, I don't think I should have to tell them. On the same token, you got to respect if they find out and say, I don't like that you didn't tell me.
If they say that to me, then we can have that discussion, and I will be open to what they have to say. But so far, I've dated two guys. They've even met each other. No one.
I'm gonna tell you, dudes is wolves. All that shit don't mean. I'm gonna let you know. That shit don't mean nothing to dudes. They wolves.
And it's not like I'm sleeping with either one of them. I'm just saying, like, yeah, he took me to dinner.
Yeah, giving up a booty cheek.
You can take me to dinner on Friday.
No booty cheek.
Well, I think overall, what we're basically all stating is we're all gonna do what is best for our individually ourselves, and then
I don't like it. I don't.
Everybody. And then we're all going to respect whatever everybody else chooses to do, as long as you're honest to yourself and to others.
There you go.
I'm honest with them.
There you go, that part.
I'm honest with them. I tell them.
Moving on to the last question.
Taking me to dinner.
Right.
You want to continue taking me to dinner? Let's go out. What are we having tonight? Sushi? Or In-N-Out?
You know, wolves got teeth. That's all. So don't.
But see, they know about each other. I'm not keeping it like.
I ain't talking about. They're not gonna fight each other. I'm just saying they want to bite something eventually.
They have their
one booty cheek. You got the other booty cheek.
Men are cumulative. All that shit add up.
So what we got, Liv?
Okay, next question. I got a little emotional about it because
what?
I said I got a little bit emotional about it because
I just
spent and a half months with this person that I really wanted to marry, and I thought that it was going that direction, and I literally got the everything ripped out from under me.
Girl,
It's
I
a
thought you was
blessing. I
having
mean,
allergies or something. Shit, I thought you had
count
some
it.
eye boogers in your eye. I was like, what the fuck? You crying? Ain't no crying on the Big Twist show. Ain't no crying in baseball.
I tried not
blessing in
to.
You
disguise,
good?
though.
You good though? You good?
At least
You
it
good.
wasn't a year or more, so it's a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, you
you
should
don't want
be.
you don't want to be
Before
20
you-
years down the line and be like, damn, this wasn't for me.
Oh, I
Anyway.
know it's not for me now, but you can still take me to lunch.
I heard that. What we got, Liz? What we got, Liz? Last question. What we got?
The last question is: do you think that a successful woman who wants to settle down in a masculine and in a relationship and let the man lead, be a masculine man, do you think that she could easily surrender to her partner or man completely? And when
Read
you
that
allow,
again. Read that again.
my question. So essentially, what I'm basically saying is, or asking, a successful woman who has everything, do you think that she can easily just surrender her independence to a masculine man? You know, because it's hard for us to just surrender once it goes back kind of to like the first question about needing a man.
Right.
But
I can. It would take me. It would be a transition for me.
Really?
I know
feel
one
like
thing.
explain,
Okay.
Danae.
Who you want to get that question?
Let's let Danae answer that one, because she is the woman who has to basically decide if she can go ahead and fully surrender to a man who wants to be masculine in the relationship and lead.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I would love to have some knight in shining armor show up and say, "Hey, baby, I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna be your protector." But I in the real world, that doesn't exist for me. I do pretty much, everything on my own. So even now, when a man wants to open a door for me, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we're going out or we're hanging out, even just as a friend, like opening my door for me. I think that's great. At the same time, it's like in my mind, I'm thinking, am I supposed to open my own door, or are they going to open my door for me? And that question,
can you submit to a man that makes less money than you? Can you submit to him?
He's going to make more money than me anyway.
Man who actually wants to take that leadership.
That wants to take that leadership.
Yes.
Could you submit if you made more money than him?
Yes.
Okay.
It would take an adjustment.
It'll take an adjustment.
Period.
Don't you feel like that's the order of how it should be? Do you feel like that? Let me put it that way.
Absolutely.
That's the order, right?
It should be that way. Unfortunately, in my world, it has not been that way. Even in my marriages.
Okay.
I've been the person that sometimes did everything. I couldn't rely on that other person.
What about you?
Even
Liz?
to be a father to our children, it's
right.
I don't know if
What
you guys
about
can still
you,
hear me
Liz?
clearly. Can you guys still hear me clearly?
Mm-hmm.
I actually would love to submit
dogs.
in a very feminine way to a man, fully. And I guess the word submitting is it's looked at such negatively in certain people. For me, it's like just allowing the man to lead in a very respectful, whatever way. As long as we can go ahead and be partners, and he can mutually respect each other and what we have to say and what we have to do as a team. I can definitely, and I will love that, because I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted to have to do it on my own. I've was the provider for a long time, and it's not always monetarily. It's about like emotional connection. It's about mental connection. Do we have the same goals? Can we work as a team to move forward together? So yes, I would love something. It will not be hard for me, but it has to be the right person.
And you can make more money than the person, right? You can, right? That's not a problem for you.
That's not the problem. But that wasn't even actually the question. It's like, can the woman submit? Can we submit once we make a lot of money? Can we actually relinquish that? Can we relinquish that? A lot of us can, a lot of us cannot, because we have not been allowed to be feminine enough in a relationship to be able to trust a man enough to do that. So
Yes.
can you guys, true masculine man, can you actually create an environment where us women who truly want to be feminine surrender to you guys and then let you lead? I don't think a lot of women out here really want to go ahead and take that masculine role that a lot of us have been forced to do. I don't like being, and I'm not talking about I'm gonna cuss you out. I don't do that. I'm like, I've had.
Yeah, I'm about to say, how are you making our environment? Because you know that women are emotional, and the way y'all think and the way we are different. So how are you how is the environment you're creating for me? Go ahead, T.
Can I offer perspective?
Yeah, definitely.
So we live in a patriarchal society, right? Right, but that's how society is molded. That's not how the universe works. That's not how real things in life work, right? So when we talk about relationships are 100%, right? 100% ain't 50-50. It could be 99-1. It could be 70-30, and it's going to fluctuate throughout the relationship, right?
Yep.
So as long as it's 100%, that's what the end goal is. Now, this is the thing. When we talk about a woman submitting, as a woman, you should never submit to a man. As a man, you should never submit to a woman. Y'all should submit to the union of the two. So me, I don't submit to my woman. We submit to us, to our relationship. Meaning, you got your room, I got my room. We meet in the hallway. Our relationship's in the hallway. It ain't in my room. It ain't in your room. So now we're submitting to that, not each other. And that's where the 70-30, 50-50, 20-80, that's where all that come in at different times. So, I don't need a woman to submit to me no more than I'm going to submit to her, because we're going to submit to something greater than both of us, which is our family, which is manifested in the children. That's when you get the picture.
Right.
Like, oh, shit. So,
and check this out. With you saying that, it's like, I'm not a controlling type person. You know what I'm saying? If a woman submits to me, it makes me want to do that back to her. You know what I'm saying? It's a being nice thing. People take that word submit and be like, like it's you're ruling with an iron fist. That's not it. That's not my character. That's
right. I don't get to be myself anymore. I'm now gotta be the. No.
I don't. No. This ain't no pimps and hoes. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly what Nora said. You know, this ain't no pimps and hoes type shit. So,
this is what
go ahead.
This is what it looked like for me when I was married. My wife would wake up at 3 a.m. and say, "Go get me a cup of water." Wake me up. I'm asleep. She could wake up, tell me go get a cup of water.
Like, kiss my ass.
I'm gonna be like, damn, but I'm gonna go get that water. You understand? So,
but it's the way she says it, right? Or the way you say it, though.
No, but this is the thing. When you know somebody and you're with somebody and you know their character, you got to give them the freedom to be who they want. So you want the freedom to wake me up at 4 a.m. to say, go get you a cup of water, and you should be able to be like, oh, damn, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to fart in the blanket, and I'm going to put the blanket over her head, and I'm going to take my ass right back to sleep.
Look, I'm going to go get it, and then I'm going to fart in the blanket.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
But it's all, for me, even if you're being yourself, it's all in the approach. Like, if my man were to be like, I'm thirsty, go get me some water at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be like, you can't ask me, say, babe, I'm thirsty. Can you please go get me some water? If you can't be talk to me like that, I don't care how long we're together. If I would like my man, for me,
I didn't say she would wake up and be mean and say it, but the fact that you would wake up and wake me up to ask me to go get it, right? And guess what? I'll do that because you're my wife.
Right. And ain't nothing
well, of
wrong
course.
with that.
Yeah,
but if she were to wake up and be like, you know what? I'm thirsty. Go get me something to drink.
I think that.
I'm not going to get out of my bed
but
to go get you something to drink. You're going to talk to me like that.
I'm speaking from a perspective of my wife asking me. Shouldn't no man wake up and
You
tell
just
his
said
woman to
ask.
go
Thank
get a cup
you.
of water? He can go get his own self. I'm saying my wife saying, "Can you go get me a cup of water?"
But you
Yeah,
said
no
ask.
problem.
You did a minute ago. It was you were demanding.
No, I said she could tell me. I didn't say demand. I said she could tell me.
Tell you
Kick her in the
ask.
back. I'm gonna
He
kick her
didn't
ass
say
out
that.
the bed.
Ask or tell.
Say that.
I said
Ask or
tell.
tell.
I
I
said
think
tell,
his
which
point-
is not demand.
He's very clear in what he's saying from my understanding. It's basically you're there for each other.
You are
Right.
there for each other.
The marriage for the union of growth, not for dictatorship. And if you are in a situation or ever in a situation where somebody's demanding in the way that you're expressing it, then you shouldn't be in that situation because that's not healthy.
Hey,
Well,
the
I've
only
stayed,
reason-
I've stayed
hey, the
stuck in
only
situations
purpose-
a lot longer than I should
You
have.
know
I
what?
can tell you
The
that
only
right now.
purpose, the only purpose we have is to help other
We
in
respect,
life, period.
respect.
You know, and if I see people respect their homeboys more than they respect their women.
And I don't like that.
That's something that we
That's
should
some
talk
cold
about.
shit.
I've seen that with some guys.
That's some cold
Not
shit.
me like
I don't like that at
You know
all.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
my woman is my best friend. She my enemy sometimes. Then sometimes I'm in love with
Really?
her. Sometimes I'm not. You know, it's up and down, man. It's always something, but we rock together. You know, we do for each other. It's just, I think it's in all of our nature to do for our significant other. You know,
It is, you know.
we're here, we're put on this planet to help each other, period. So,
Yeah.
But I think it's all in the way you do it also. Like you can't be like, oh, I'm upset with you right now. I'm giving you the silent treatment. That's not even, that's what I'm saying.
Bullshit. What
That shit happens. That's
shit.
all
I ain't
this shit.
talk
Every
to your ass for a minute. I'm gonna put you on punishment. Because one thing
Now I'm being punished.
a lot of times though, a woman can see a man being kind, being nice, doing everything, and you're gonna look at us as a feminine or on your level, and it'll
No.
make you look at a man like, oh man, he's a pussy, or he's this.
Oh, he's
he's
just
that.
being my bitch. No, I would never look at somebody.
I said a lot of women. So, you know,
I
why
personally-
you looking like that, Liz? You got something to say?
I would never talk to my
Because
man
you
like
want
that.
a masculine man.
I would
You know
never
what I'm
even
saying?
think that
Some
way.
of y'all take that kindness for weakness.
No, not me.
Y'all hear
Nope.
I mean, when I see the
Not me.
kindness, the genuine kindness, I appreciate that because I don't see that around a lot.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't been around a lot of men, so, or I haven't dated or been in a relationship. I was a committed 20-year relationship, and it just went south because I was always there, always the person. But then when I had to step up to become a masculine to some degree, like this is what I'm talking about.
What did you do that was wrong, though?
No.
What were your flaws in that relationship? Because a lot of women always say, "I did this, I did that." What was
come
your
on, bro. You know, women don't.
You
do
can't.
nothing.
That you can't. There's no answer to
You said,
that.
well, hold on,
What did
wait
you
a minute,
say? What did you
Danae,
say?
Liz, hold on,
I want to
y'all.
hear what.
Yeah, what did you say, Norris?
Now you know women don't do nothing wrong. Everything is
Yeah,
our fault.
exactly.
That's not
Nothing at
true.
all.
Oh,
That's
it's
not
absolutely
That's-
true. Absolutely true.
Or is
And
that,
won't
is that
apologize for
that's
shit.
not true? That's not
They'll
true.
apologize by being nice or doing
That's not
something
true.
nice,
Now,
but
some
they
people
would
know
not
how to take, some people know how to take accountability, but some people are in situations or have been in situations where narcissistic individuals actually manipulate.
Yes,
Therefore,
that's
it's a
correct.
very toxic situation. So therefore, I can take accountability for my roles, and some of them unbeknownst to me until later on in the years that I go back in retrospect and recognize them a little bit better. But if you're not aware of what your toxic traits are when you're just involved in the relationship, somebody much older, somebody who has psychological background, from my perspective, my experience, it was very toxic. I had my toxicities, but unaware of it until later on, and I started adjusting to improve. But nothing I did was gonna create a better environment if somebody is a narcissist.
Right.
I did what I did in order for me to try to improve, but nothing I did was gonna remedy the situation. The only thing that could remedy the situation for me was getting away, so then I can get mentally right.
Right.
That person has to do their own work.
No, I agree with you. I was just being a little sarcastic. I agree with you. Everybody has that. Everybody, you know what I mean? But for the most part,
I was just being honest.
it's hard to find
I know he
Please
would.
elaborate, because I mean, I have heard that some men say, well, no, there's no, maybe like Steve Harvey has said something to the nature of where women are never really wrong. You guys, men usually have to adjust to women. You know that cliche where they say, happy wife, happy life. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. There's happy
I don't believe in
individuals,
that shit either.
communication, open and honesty, then we can move forward into happy life. But
I
if
feel
there's
like the
just
woman
no
need to find her
constant
own
battle,
happiness. She need to go find her own happiness. Because, man, trying to make a woman happy, that's difficult. You'll play yourself. And with men too.
It depends
I
on the
just said,
woman.
and with men too. Look, Danae put her hair all up like this. I said with men too. We got to find what we want to, to get.
If she's high maintenance, then you got to live up to that expectation. But if I'm low maintenance, and the only thing that makes me happy is if you put on a Culture Club song for me while we riding in the car, I'm happy.
Oh, Lord. Look, if I try to find happiness in you, I'm going to be, oh gosh, if I try to look for my happiness in you, I'm going to be disappointed every goddamn time.
Man, can I say something about
that's
that?
totally true, though.
Oh,
Can I say something about that? Can I say something about that? People be like, my happiness, your happiness shouldn't be rooted in me. No, listen.
It depends
I'm happy. I'm happy up to here.
Right.
You take me over the top. And that's
there
what
you
we
go.
live for.
There you go.
Yes.
That's what I was gonna say, because
in my room.
You want to go
need
stay
to
in this
engage.
Thing.
No, we need to engage with each other. Lately, I've been very happy by myself. I go and I'm entertaining myself, but it doesn't mean that I do not want somebody else there to share that joy, and then we build that joy.
Two happies make a happy. Make a happier.
Happier.
Make it happier. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what
if you're miserable, looking for somebody to make you happy, that's wrong. But if you're a happy person and that person fucking puts you over the top, like you wake up next to that person and that fucking makes you smile. See what I'm saying?
Can I say one thing? I want to give you guys I'm just gonna put this out there. So
okay, just don't be long-winded because
seriously, real quick.
Okay.
2 days ago, I've been kind of not feeling myself, like I'm whatever. I decided, you know what? I want to put on some little bit of makeup. All I got to do is run some errands. I got to go to Home Depot and I got to go to Walmart to return some stuff, right?
Right.
So my friend's like, I'll take you. I'm like, okay. So I put on a skirt. I put on a cute top. I put on high heels. Got my hair real cute. I was looking nice because I'm like, I'm going out.
Looking good, girl.
And he walks in my house and says, why you all dressed up? And I was like, I said, you can't say like you look nice. He's like, well, yeah, you look nice, but why are you dressed up? And I'm like, whatever. I ended up going into Home Depot by myself. This motherfucker sat in the car while I walked in Home Depot, looking fly like that, sat in the car. Do you mind if I wait since you're just returning something? I come back to the car after returning.
Your eyebrows is fucked up. Why do you want to sit in the car?
It would have been nice. It would have been nice if you were just walked in there with me, just standing next to me, just going in there with me like that. Rude.
Yeah.
There's no reason why a man should send a woman into Home Depot by herself. I mean, it's Home Depot.
I was dressed up to the.
We gonna get him, girl. We gonna get him. I'm gonna come get you right now. You gonna get the car, cuz. We about to ride, cuz.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I didn't dress up for him.
Right.
I dressed up for myself.
Why you think he stayed in the car? What the hell?
Maybe he didn't want to deal with all the dudes trying to get at you. Maybe he didn't want to deal with the attention. No. Maybe he was looking too fly and he didn't want to put himself through that.
Yeah, Danae.
But I'm saying when he walked in the door, he should have said, why are you dressed up like that? Why are you wearing heels for you to return something to Home Depot?
They told him to get your attention.
Don't walk in my house like that. You should be like, wow, you look really beautiful. I would be happy to go return
that Negro got
some
insecure
screws
real quick.
to Home Depot with you.
Hey, he got
said,
real
who you
insecure
got?
real
He
quick,
said, who am I taking you to see? That's what he said. Who am I taking you to go see? Kind of sucker do I look like?
No.
Well, with that being said, man, you know, I gotta be respectful of the time, people's time. Hey, we gotta run this back again though soon. You did?
Yeah.
You know, I love my little
Sounds
panel,
good.
man. We gotta run this shit back again, get some more. Hey, those were some good questions.
They were
Miss
great.
Liz, I like it, little sis. I like it, little sis. Those was good. Those was good. Now, with that being said, we got a little bit of time. Y'all got a couple minutes. Y'all got a little bit more time.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. Because right now I want to get into the Big Twist show. We about to play the Big Twist show.
All right, we're gonna say that for later. I gotta go to Harlem and film. We're gonna go live while we filming though. So check back in a few hours, man. Have a good day. But we're gonna get back to the Big Twist show. That nice little way he wraps the show up. I think it's dope. So peace. I'll see you in a bit. We're on our way to Harlem. Peace.